We were like kind of the last tables of the night. But yeah, I mean, never underestimate the power of just being nice and saying thank you.
Yeah, my mother raised me with one idiom and like no Bible, no indoctrination, nothing. She taught me one thing. She said, "Now what happened there? Did you actually garrote him or what?" Oh my god. You did not garrote him for some reason. I told you to garrote him. I don't know why you didn't garrote him. Do I have a garrote macro? I don't know. Yeah, I do. There. Wait, I don't want to start attack on that macro. That's probably what got me in this mess in the first place. No. I like just cast garrote, that's all. See, like, why is this 19 here? But I guess the loot here is pretty good. They must drop something good. The Defias looter. There's a mage and a looter on top of each other. I can't really aggro both without death. I can get that looter over there. If he pulls the mage... Yep, I'll take this guy then. Annoying. Disarmed me, that dick. Why can't I... Oh my god, I'm gonna die. Why? Dear god, why? Fucking annoying. Why did I have to potion there? Now I feel like a really crucial cooldown is like down. I'll just burn my cooldowns here and wait, I guess. Fucking annoying. 5 minutes is so bad. I might have to spec into faster abilities just to... for my own sanity. 5 minutes is just fucking cruel. Just cruel. 5-minute cooldowns are not fun. They really make you... Oh my god, I can't believe you saw me. Looter, pillager, aggro. Gotta watch that. I could sap one of them, I suppose. Night Owl Priest, Phoenix. Thank you. Would you care to... I don't understand. Okay. I'm not used to this eviscerate change, and I'm like, why can't I get anything? It's annoying.
Aggro.
I'll get out of his face. I didn't mean to interfere with him, but it's a lot of mobs. I love Garou because it silences him.
Aggro.
Nope. Nope. I don't want to go in anywhere because then you have to go back out again. Rather just pick and choose one by one until this is done. I've got 4 more to go. It's fine. It's an annoying quest, but it definitely is. Yeah, it's fine. There's been some close calls here because of the mages. There's a path stalker, pillager. They're all like bad aggro though. There's a looter. Oh, I'm done with him though. I guess I'm done with looters. I actually have to do the mages now, I guess. Yeah, the pillagers, yeah. Pillagers are mages. I have to kill the mages. I do.
But please, personally, I'm a big fan of saying "sir." It's so disarming.
Yep.
Though I do have to catch myself because I'm like, now that I'm 37, can it come off condescending?
He's almost my age.
Also,
yeah.
on that show, there was definitely a lot of talk about the opioid crisis. The comments popping up, like, it blows my mind that we're still as a country struggling with an opioid crisis this badly, when it's been proven time and time again that harm reduction and decriminalization works. Countries that treat addiction as a mental illness that you can receive help for instead of a crime that will have you thrown in jail for years of your life don't have these issues. Also, people sharing, I'm a psych nurse practitioner in Ohio, and I work with patients with opioid use disorder. It is definitely an increasing problem here. Everyone seems to be wondering if we'll find some kind of cure. But the truth is, we have a life-saving medication, buprenorphine, which you mentioned. The problem is that people see it as replacing one drug for another, when in reality, it just helps people who have used opioids for years to just feel normal again, which is often impossible to have a patient. They can stay on it as long as they...
I've got to watch those gouges, because if I miss on the gouge, if they resist the gouge, what then? The fireball just goes through and kills you. So I have to actually really watch, like, dancing with mages like that. That'll get me wasted. Like, mages... I hate mages. They do way too much damage for, like, I don't know. Especially Frost Mage has all these shields and everything. I don't need any more of him. I only need mages, which is so annoying. But I think I only need like 3 more, which is okay. Could die and lose the run here. Mages are no joke. Oh. Surprise pop looter, pop aggro. Oh, another looter. Yeah, that's no good. Suddenly it's death, thank God. See how someone else's pop, that warrior's pop, almost got me wasted. And now I can't reach that pillager anymore. So... And I'm glad that I didn't, because I would have been dead, or at least had to run, you know. Fucking mages. Oh, the looter moved off of the pillager, but I think he went in the building. I can maybe get past him. Yeah, I was able to get past him. I could open on him, but I'm gonna get double aggro here. It's just death. I can't. It's far too many mages. Pillager, looter. I mean, I can't get Link here. I'll just die. I have to be very careful here. Gotta find pillagers that aren't, like, problematic. Like, I feel like I could pull... Yeah, this guy's gonna pull this other one. I want that one, and I'm gonna pull him too.
Aggro.
Oh god, pop aggro. Oh no. 2 pillagers. Yeah, fucking asshole. No, he's casting on me. No, no. It's going to hurt. No. Come out of there. Oh, you fucking dick. There, he went on someone else. That's kind of funny. Why is he on that guy? That makes no sense. Oh god, am I done here? No. Nice. Gonna get popped here. Honestly, stealthing in the center and just watching for like some kind of pop is gonna be... I'm glad that all these people are here. It makes it way safer. But all the pops are dead, which is so annoying. I could go northwest there. I know, I guess I... Yeah, I mean, I could catch 2 pillagers up there as possible, I suppose. Seems like... Oh, there's a looter, but I need a pillager. There. Drop and throw.
Aggro.
Stop. That kicks back up. He's fucked. Gotta remember to kick the mages and actually play the metagame where you just die. Mages will just kill you. The damage is unreasonable. Oh man, they're like, there's spawns in there. I could help him, I guess. I will help him, I suppose. Oh, pillager. Now he's on me. Damn it, this is your mob, damn it. You don't want to help me? Dick. Oh no, they're busy with arrows, never mind. There's a pillager, and that's the last one I need, but I can't fuck around here, I'll get wasted. Gotta heal, you know? There we go. Oh, he's gonna pull it. Damn it! Oh well, I couldn't pull with low health, I couldn't do it. He's Capriest. That just kills it. Fucking annoying how I'm stuck around doing this last mob. Frankly, I don't need to stay here, but I mean, like... Looter... Shadow would be fun. To, like, level Shadow. And then go Holy at the end. Heal things. Why did they stop Season of Discovery at 25? There's no dungeons in the game. There's like Dead Mines, Stocks, Wailing Caverns, Shadowfang Keep. I guess that's like a pretty good amount for, I suppose. I wonder what it's going to be like. I think I'm going to run Rogue. I'm fairly sure. I'm so addicted to Rogue. There's a pillager finally. Oh, come on. How did you see me? Son of a bitch, dude. Nope. There it is. I'm finally done with this hellacious place. Leaving. Oh, wait. No, there's something else, huh? There's an oat spawn over there, is there? Yeah, but I don't see it. So I'm just going to keep going. I'll sprint out of here since I got 5 minutes of travel to do anyways. Getting oak sacks is annoying, but whatever. Kind of close on that too. I gotta say, I like Westfall just as much as Darkshore. I think it's a really good zone. I've noticed that it's a lot easier. Nope. This is... Ooh, that's not good. Oh no. Stop. Oh good, I got it. Just run. Clear skies ahead. I'm good. Yep, drop that aggro, bitch. I know you don't like me, and you're pissed off that I hit you in the face. But I mean, oh no, do not target these things. I mean, yeah, that was the right play. I did it well. I ran. I didn't have sprint. I really should stop running sprint as a luxury. It's such a long fucking cooldown that there's really no reason to ever use sprint as like this luxury.
There was no time limit for treatment. We wouldn't stigmatize using insulin for diabetic patients. Hope we can shed some light on this and the importance of not just decriminalization, harm reduction, but also expanding treatment. That is the part we often overlook. And the thing I really want to hit on here is thanking to everyone that shared their stories, their experiences with this story. There was a lot that I'm not going to be able to touch on just for the size of the show and segment. But the last one that I will hit on is a comment that read, I know I'm not who you wanted to hear from, but I am a caregiver for my mother, who is someone who has an opioid prescription for a legitimate need, crippling pain, and she's been on it for a while. Even her doctor has tried to suddenly take it from her because of these fears in the DEA right now. It's frustrating. The crackdown on these medications causes more harm to the people who need it than it does the people committing crimes. I wish instead of bothering with this unwinnable war on drugs, our government would start tackling decriminalization and addiction to the people who need the treatment they need.
Oh man, imagine if they just legalized meth and heroin. Jesus Christ, man. Sold it at the Walgreens, and we could stop this goddamn madness. People will be like, why you want to be addicted to that stupid shit? You know, you can go down and buy it, but why? Why would you want to do that, you know?
Without judgment and leave everyone else alone. But that is
leave me alone.
The end of the news is going to end today, though, since you liked it so much the first two times, do it.
I'll tell you this, if they stopped cutting the dope with all that garbage and just sold it in the Walgreens, the world would be a lot better place. There'd be a lot less angry boomers and a lot less school shootings and a lot less problems. A lot less cartels and a lot less bullshit.
But a third time, I've got a secret video and link for you to watch right here. You can click or tap, or I got a link in the description for you. I've been enjoying that. But that said, of course, as always, my name's Philip DeFranco. You've just been filled in. I love yo faces, and I'll see you right back here tomorrow for more news.
So, I like Phil DeFranco, and I'm realizing now that I should probably watch him every day. Yeah, like, here we go.
Today, we're talking about George Santos using campaign money on OnlyFans. We've got a YouTube controversy with Demi Lovato and Troye Sivan, among others. This new Taylor Swift, Travis Kelce controversy has people divided. The mom whose 6-year-old shot that teacher is officially going to prison. And America's opioid crackdown isn't stopping overdoses, but that's not even the most concerning thing. We're talking about all that and so much more.
Yeah, like that shit, like the crackdown has not caused any cessation of drugs. It's like so dumb. Like, I don't know why they don't just let us go buy the marijuana and the heroin and the meth and the cocaine and stuff, because people are going to buy that anyways. Whether you put a law about it or not, they're just going to do that anyways. And there's a bag, I think. No, I don't know. And why not just embrace it and understand that people are going to be doing it anyways, and stop regulating it. And I think people will relax more, you know. Tax the hell out of it. Use it to fix our education system and our fucking mental health and stuff. Instead of the war on drugs causing all these mental health issues and problems and filling our jails with nonviolent fucking drug offenders. Like, why don't we just legalize it and use that money for something more productive? I don't really get it. I don't understand, like, the whole... Shouldn't the consequences of being a drug addict be the consequences of being a drug addict? Instead of you throwing jail in on top of it, you know what drug addicts are like. You don't trust them. Nobody wants to be around them. They live dusty and disgusting in their drug addict worlds. And, you know, I used to be one, I know. And I don't really see how that has anything to do with some kind of jail sentence or any of that stupid ass shit that you guys do. The war on failure drugs. Your failure drug war that has never stopped a single person from doing drugs. Stack the bodies just as bad or worse than the Holocaust. Cost us billions and billions. Filled the land with prisons and wards and just terrible shit. Black markets abound, cartels abound, drug murders abound. The inner cities are rife with, like, addiction and problems and poverty and stuff. And for why? You easily could have just let them do what they wanted to do and not been so fascist about it like Nazi Germany.
Aggro.
And, oh, got a nasty mage. Stop. Pull away from it. He is squishy, I gotta say. They are squishy. Nope. Oh, nope, 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 nope. I need you to... I used it, I guess? Yes, I did. Yes, I did. I need you to... Evasion. He's nasty. I'm gonna kill him, but he's nasty. I'm not dying to him. That's not happening. Yep. Just going... Blah. Stealth. Full health. Stealth to full health. And we're out of that problem. We've used a lot of cooldowns, and we might as well bust the sprint while we're at it. And just run it all 5 minutes and just, you know, whatever. I have a lot of traveling to do anyways. Yeah, I gotta go back to Sentinel Hill. Busting the sprint is gonna get me wasted. And I need to really recognize that fact. Using the sprint socially like that, just to get me down the road, is fun, but incredibly fucking dangerous, and I should not be doing it. Like, I'm so used to doing it. Like, okay, I don't know what the sprint cooldown is. Oh, no, I do. It's 2 minutes. Like, the normal sprint cooldown now is 2 minutes. You can drop it by, I think, like a 40 seconds, too. So it's like, or not 40 seconds. Yeah, it's like something like 40 seconds. I think you can get it down to, like, 60 seconds or 90. I think it's like 90. You can get it down to 90, I think. And that is so much better than 5 minutes. That means you get 3 sprints in the time it takes this one sprint to cool down. And stuff like that is why they say that this game sucks. Stuff like that, like 5-minute cooldowns. Yeah. So hopefully, you know, I don't think Season of Discovery is going to mess with any of that. But what I would like to see is some fundamental changes with stuff like, I think herbalism should give XP. I think skinning should give XP. Not much XP. I'm talking 1 XP. But I'd rather see something than nothing at all. I'd rather see 1 XP from skinning. I mean, look at how much I need. I need 12,900. I'd have to, in order to level by skinning at 1 XP a pop, it would take me 12,900 fucking, like, corpses. And I'm not going to do that. Nobody's going to do that. Bots can't even do that. So why not just give us 1 XP per skin? It's all progress. It all counts towards something. But then we're talking about retail improvements already to a classic, which maybe we shouldn't mess with. I don't know.
Brand new extra large Philip DeFranco show. You daily dive into the news, so just make sure you hit that like button and let's jump into it. Starting with, I got a question for you. Was this a case of excessive force, or were the cops justified? Because that debate is playing out online right now, and at the center of this we have a man and a woman by the name of Anthony and Christina Pierre. And according to the police's version of events,
have
officers
eluded
approached
us.
them because
My
they were
most
smoking
trusted
marijuana.
scout reports that these defiers have been looting and pillaging the countryside all the way into southern Westfall. We believe they are hiding out in the Dagger Hills, plotting their next move. Slay the wretches in the name of the People's Militia. Light bless you.
Okay. Sounds good to me.
One at a bus stop. Reportedly, both of them were employees at the nearby Bojangles restaurant. And then the police said that they told the pair that they were under arrest, at which point Pierre allegedly punched one of the officers in the face. Though notably, some witnesses claimed that the officer actually punched her. But either way, none of it was caught on camera, with both her and Lee resisting arrest, according to the cops, who also said they took Lee into custody and found a concealed loaded 9mm handgun in his bag. And they also said Pierre kept resisting, with police claiming that she tucked her arms underneath her body so they couldn't handcuff her. And that is actually where the video starts, with several officers seen restraining her face down on the ground, and one cop, who arrived as backup, repeatedly striking her with downward blows. Right here, the police say that the officer had issued several verbal commands, but when she didn't comply, he struck her thigh 7 times with his knee and 10 times with a closed fist. So as others have noted, Pierre appeared to have marks on her face, suggesting that her thigh wasn't the only place that she was injured. You can also hear bystanders reacting to the violence. And eventually, the cops managed to arrest Pierre, and they charged both her and Lee with several different crimes, including marijuana possession, resisting arrest, assault, and possession of a firearm. And so with all this, the video has gone absolutely viral, provoking a stunned response online. People saying things like, beating the shit out of people for smoking weed. Great job, guys. Everyone feels super safe now. Or if marijuana was legal, this entire interaction could have just been, good morning, all.
Good job, guys. Everyone feels super safe now. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, I'll comment on it. Good job, guys. Everyone feels super safe now. Yeah, your fascism makes me feel so safe.
local branch of the NAACP pointing out the racial aspect of this, with Lee and Pierre both being black and most of the
Yep.
officers appearing to be white. But also on the other side of this, you have Police Chief John Jennings, who is black, put out several statements defending the officers, saying he believes the facial injuries have been sustained on the initial struggle with a single officer, but saying that the cop's body camera was knocked off during the struggle. And adding there, police use of force is never easy to watch. Officers are trained to strike large muscle groups in order to gain compliance during an arrest. I watched the body-worn camera footage and believe that it tells more of the story than what is circulating on social media. But then adding there that he can't release the footage without a court order, so the PD's attorney has requested one and they'll put it out as soon as possible. Though very notably, Jennings also acknowledged that the department may not have handled everything perfectly, and he said that the department would consider changes to its policy, and that including its response to marijuana offenses and the need to, quote, deliver body strikes if we have 4 officers subduing an individual. So those are the details that we have available right now. Obviously, we're waiting to see what else comes out, but where do you land on this right now and why? And then, we finally have some closure on that news involving that 6-year-old boy who brought a gun to class and shot his own teacher. As you might remember, that story happened back in January when the Virginia boy retrieved his mother's pistol from her purse at home and took it to school, with him then in class pulling it out and shooting his teacher, Abby Werner, and the bullet hitting her in the hand and upper chest, sending her to the hospital for 2 weeks. This poor woman saying she has gory nightmares and needed 5 surgeries to regain motion in her left hand. And so pretty quickly, the blame fell on the boy's mother, 26-year-old Deja Taylor. And then we saw in June she actually pleaded guilty to using cannabis while owning a firearm, since police found roughly 1 ounce of cannabis in her home after the shooting. And so the big update and news now is that a judge has handed down her full sentence of 21 months in federal prison. Though notably, the situation isn't over because she's still facing sentencing on a state charge of felony child neglect as well. And then, so in online and celebrity drama news, let's talk about Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce. That's because Taylor Swift fans have been digging up Travis Kelce's old tweets, and for the most part, they've been amused by them. Right? People finding posts from like 2009 to 2012 when Travis would have been like 20 to 23 roughly. And some are just like those old super mundane tweets about wanting Olive Garden and Taco Bell. There's also one where he's just like super pumped about a squirrel crushing a piece of bread, all while misspelling squirrel. People saying it had himbo vibes. Or also things like he misplaced his phone and tons about him loving Chipotle. And so with this, you have people saying things like, it's so wonderful that there's nothing cancelable about Travis Kelce's old tweets resurfacing. He's just an ideal himbo having a good time. But then you also have people saying they found, problematic ones. And it appears that those initially got a lot less attention because like the himbo ones, they're still on his page for the most part, but the negative ones have been removed. But the screenshots remain on Reddit, including some from 2010, where he said, as a man, you have something wrong with you if you're going for girls that weigh more than you. As well as, haha, when fat people fall, it's like slow motion entertainment because they never just fall. They always tumble and gradually hit the deck. Hashtag comedy. And damn, the Clippers girls gotta be the shitty girls that don't make the Lakers team because they always love doing that, in addition to a few others that have popped up. But also, with what we're seeing online right now, and of course, things may change, this is still a developing situation, is that while you do have some people that aren't happy about those, you have a lot of Swifties actually very willing to give him some grace. With him saying things like, y'all can repost and look at Travis's old tweets all you want, but that doesn't make it his truth now. Do some research on Travis Kelce 10 years ago to now. And saying, if we're gonna bring up his old tweets, let's celebrate the fucking character development this man has had. As well as bring up Travis being sexist, fatphobic 13 years ago, like, yeah, Taylor was also slut-shaming on her song Better Than Revenge 13 years ago, and changed the lyric to make it less like that. It's almost like with 10 plus years, people change. I'm not excusing any of his behavior, but it's just not relevant at this point. And so with that, you have some saying, is this situation right now an example of like people evolving online instead of like kind of just trying to cancel someone for something back in the day? They're now more considerate to the idea that people change and grow and learn from their past. Or two, others arguing this is just
a 4-slot bag. Damn it.
Travis Kelce, then maybe they'd have a different reaction. Maybe the Swifties are sort of different. Travis, they don't want to cancel. But yeah, ultimately, with that, I want to pass a question up to you. Where do you land on this? Are we seeing a changing mindset, or do you think that like the reaction we're seeing right now is biased? And then, do you think that Britney Spears' memoir should be turned into a movie? I ask it because in the news right now, you have a lot of big names wanting that to happen, but also you have people saying it doesn't sound like a good idea. For some background, Britney's memoir, The Woman in Me, has been a massive success. It details her life, her career, the exploitation that came with it, and of course, the conservatorship that controlled her life. And now, according to page 6, there is a planned screen adaptation that is in its very early stages as interest mounts. As far as who's interested, according to reports, they've named Brad Pitt, Reese Witherspoon, and Margot Robbie, who have reportedly expressed interest in taking on the project with the respective production companies. What you've seen are people having problems with these reports for a couple of reasons. Right? Some think that there should be no film or TV adaptation of this at all, arguing that people should stop trying to profit off of a woman who has been constantly exploited. Saying that the entertainment industry just stood by, she was dragged left and right, now they want to step in and make some money off of her. So there, of course, it is worth noting that it doesn't look like this is going to happen against her. The reports claim that she is involved in the meetings about the adaptation, which is actually why the biggest backlash stems around the fact that Brad Pitt is putting his name in the hat as a potential producer. The number of people think this is completely unacceptable because he himself has been accused of abuse. Right? If you didn't know, Angelina Jolie claimed in a lawsuit that he choked one of their children and struck another in the face, also claiming that he sexually assaulted her. And since so much of Britney's story has to do with abuse, people think that an alleged abuser should be involved in telling it. And people saying things like Brad Pitt biopics about mistreated women are not a vehicle for you to repent or mend your public image, go find something else. And the way Brad Pitt gets himself so involved in abused women's stories, considering what he did to his own wife and kids, feels extremely uncomfortable. And there are people breaking up with his past projects, right? Like his production company produced Blonde, a Marilyn Monroe biopic that was widely panned for exploiting Marilyn's life and legacy. But people saying things like Brad Pitt constantly throwing his name on stories about the exploitation and abuse of women is a different type of evil to me. And in general, people think that the project would be in better hands of either Reese or Margot. So with all that, I go back to the original question: should Britney Spears' memoir be turned into a movie? And then to add to that, if yes, who do you think should make it? And then, alright, so is this weird? Even talking about this brand, it just kind of brings me to a comfort place. Like, that's how magical our new partner and sponsor of the PDS, Cozy Earth, is to me. You need to understand, this is the best bedding we've ever had. With Black Friday, Cyber Monday sales here, it's time to jump on this deal. I'm not kidding. Cozy Earth gives you the softest, most luxurious feeling fabric, guaranteed. If you somehow do not love Cozy Earth sheets, you have 100 days to get your money back. But also, I can't imagine you not loving these. And you won't stop there. Their hoodies and joggers are like taking the bed with you during your day. They feel as soft and cozy as the sheets made with viscous with bamboo. You get this, both Cozy Earth apparel and sheets are naturally temperature regulating and moisture wicking, so you'll stay more comfortable year round. And I will say, as someone that runs hot, that is a great selling point. And Cozy Earth also prides themselves on the ethical production of all their products, and the durable fabric doesn't peel even after continual washing and drying. They just keep getting softer and better and more comfortable. And get this, Cozy Earth's Black Friday, Cyber Monday sales are already underway. You can save up to 40%, but you gotta hurry. This offer ends soon. So go to cozyearth.com/DeFranco and enter DeFranco at checkout to save up to 40%. That's cozyearth.com/DeFranco, cozyearth.com/DeFranco. And then, what happens in Rio stays in Rio, especially when you literally cannot leave. Right, so back in September, 3 British Airways flight attendants were out on the town of Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, the night before a return flight to Heathrow. When they were finally ready to wrap things up and head back to the hotel, 2 of them said they got into a taxi, but that it took them to a disused gas station in a rough neighborhood instead. And there, they said armed men stole 2 cell phones and other belongings, but fortunately, one of the crew members said they had a third hidden cell phone, which they used to hail a taxi to the hotel once the gunman left. Except then, on the way there, they said a man on a motorcycle robbed them a second time, stealing the remaining cell phone. And only after that did they spot a military police vehicle and get help. Meanwhile, the third crew member who stayed behind went through a whole ordeal of his own, saying that he met a woman, and after chatting and drinking for a few minutes, he blacked out, remembering nothing before waking up lying on the street. And so naturally, all 3 of them were traumatized, right? They were just grateful to escape alive. And understandably, they were in no condition to work, and the return flight was canceled. Except all of that, the police now say it is complete bullshit. Because according to the cops, the crew members actually just had a wild night of drugs and drinking, and they invented this whole story to cover up their antics. And it's not just a tale of different stories. Surveillance video actually showed the first 2 crew members simply drinking for several hours as late as 5 in the morning. And as for the third guy, he allegedly consumed so many drugs and so much alcohol they just fell unconscious. With later construction workers reviving him, and they had to wait for an ambulance. He allegedly showed them a white powder suspected by police to be cocaine. And then at the hospital, police say that he actually admitted to spending a night taking drugs with a pair of women in an unfamiliar neighborhood. So allegedly, the only part of their story that is true is that one of their cell phones did appear to have actually been stolen. And the situation is still not over, because the police in Rio are considering charges against the trio, but also they're planning to summon British Airways representatives to establish whether the crew cooked up this lie themselves or if they were actually instructed to create this fabrication by airline. And then, how does every story about George Santos just sound more and more ridiculous? So today, the big news is that George Santos used campaign funds for OnlyFans. And that is just the tip of the damning evidence found against Santos. Right? According to the 56-page report released today, Santos used campaign funds for personal purposes, defrauded donors, and filed false or incomplete campaign finance reports. The report also finding that Santos reported hundreds of thousands of dollars in fake loans to his campaign, which he then repaid himself with actual money. They also found a bunch of expenditures that had nothing to do with his campaign, including hotel stays, thousands of dollars in spa treatments, and even Botox. But this is Santos, so it does not stop there. Georgie Boy also reportedly used a company called Redstone Strategies to skirt around campaign contribution limits. And investigators also found that Santos transferred himself $200,000 of Redstone throughout 2022, and then used that money to pay off personal credit cards, shopping at Hermes and Sephora, and last but not least, purchases
Sephora.
on OnlyFans. Now, notably, the
OnlyFans
findings off to the DOJ.
Oh my God.
Action against Santos in the House. With the committee's chairman, Representative Michael Guest, notably saying that recommending punishment would have actually taken the committee several more months. But also, Washington Post reports that a source confirmed that Guest will be filing a motion to expel Santos on Friday to be considered when the House returns from Thanksgiving break on the 28th. And all of this is, of course, Santos is already facing a 23-count federal indictment. He's pleaded guilty to that, and he's already survived an expulsion attempt out of concern regarding due process. But also, very big news, following this report's release, he announced on Twitter that he will not be seeking re-election after for all, saying if there was a single ounce of ethics in the ethics committee, they would not have released this biased report. But none of this answers the most important question, and that is, who is George Santos subscribed to on OnlyFans? I demand people make freedom of information requests now. And is he paying for like vanilla stuff, or is it like stuff with feet and or cakes, or what are we talking about? The people need to know, because if the house is gonna let that fraud stay there, we might as well get some gossip. And then, when it comes to AI and music, we're seeing some artists openly condemning the use, but you actually have others leaning into it. Now,
why did that level 14 crab, same level as me, why did this level 14 crab tear through evasion and another whole health bar? And that's why Classic's so weird. Like, hardcore's so weird. This particular mob, same level as me, he just went through a whole evasion thing. I couldn't let him miss most of my hits on him, and it just made no sense, like, at all. Now, I got some dagger skill off him. He was a challenge, but, like, still, like, I don't really understand that. Like, why was that particular mob roided to fuck, where he just tore through an evasion even and forced a potion out of me? That's insane to me. Why? Why would it ever be like that? Why would a level 14 tear through evasion and almost kill me? It's just insane. It's, yeah. I guess it was only really, in the end, like a quarter bar of health.
Votto, Troy Sivan, Charlie Puth, John Legend, T-Pain, and more partnering with YouTube for a new experiment on this whole front. They're calling it Dream Track in YouTube Shorts. It allows creators to type in a prompt for a song, select one of the participating artists, and then receive a 30-second track with an AI-generated version of that artist's voice that can be used for a YouTube Short. YouTube are also providing an example, right? If you tell it you want an upbeat ballad from Charlie Puth about how opposites attract, you'll get something like this. Baby, we've got nothing in common, but I know that I'm what you've been wanting. For so long now.
And that's DMCA. So now they're just like, so okay. So here's how they're gonna get around DMCA, right? The artist can opt to make like an auto-tuned AI version of each song that they sell. And the original always sounds better, but you can always get a crappier, like, internet sounding copy of it that you can just listen to on your stream. And I think that's the future. They're just going to copy the music to get around the DMCA until they just drop the DMCA and they realize how goddamn fucking stupid it is. And how it, like, really... I mean, you shouldn't be able to just steal people's music to make a product super good. I do agree with that. But I don't really know why you should get canceled for playing like 2 minutes of a Metallica song. I think that's kind of like we've lost control of the laws at that point.
Well, DeepMind will initially only be available to a small group of creators who will give feedback. And in addition to that,
I was hoping to see a lot of fishing pools here, but apparently not. I did every other time I visited here. But I'm going to stop creeping around. It's too slow. I'm just not trying to get aggro or die here, just looking for fishing pools. There was, like, Dark Shore seems better than this. These guys are also no joke. I really can't aggro a lot of these. Like that 15, he could give me a run for my money. My cooldowns are up, I think. Yeah. Most. I have got, like 50 more seconds on evasion, and that's kind of a problem. Like, how fast chain aggro could happen is kind of nasty, and I should definitely maybe remain stealth here until the cooldowns are up. I do not want to grind these things. I just wanted to take this route south, all the way south, since I have to go do that. I figured I would just take, since I have to go south anyways, I would take the beach route and do some fishing in the hopes of getting some money.
About why they chose to be a part of it. Demi Lovato here saying in a statement that the development of AI technology is rapidly changing the way we navigate the landscape, and I believe as artists we need to be a part of shaping what that future looks like. Though of course,
yeah, I kind of agree. I think they should definitely start making AI copies of their songs that we could just play, that are almost note perfect to the fucking songs themselves, so we can get around DMCA. And it's not like we want to steal your music to get famous with it or sell it. It's like we don't want to go to jail or get demonetized or get like, not go to jail, but, you know, just get like like canceled because of your DMCA over some music. That's ridiculous. I mean, music is to be shared and appreciated by all of humanity, in my opinion. I don't know if it's good, upstanding music, doesn't have bad themes and stuff like that.
Some are also expressing some hesitation. I mean, you had Charlie XCX saying she was and still is cautious about the idea, but is interested to see what comes out of these endeavors as AI grows.
I found my fishing pool and there's 50 billion mobs all around it.
Participating felt that it was important for musicians to be involved with AI developments instead of just backing away from them. And a big thing is all of this coming just a few days after the platform did a broader rollout of AI guidelines, right? Like requiring creators to disclose and label AI use when they've made any kind of altered or synthetic content that's realistic. Also allowing YouTube's music partners to request the removal of AI-generated songs that mimic an artist's voice. Right? Because while the artists in this project are willing to play with AI, a lot of artists really hate it. I mean, you've had the likes of Drake, Bad Bunny, and Ed Sheeran speaking out against it. Right? This is going to be one of the biggest points of friction in the music industry for some time regarding creativity, ownership, copyright, and more.
Yeah, like I don't know though, but like I mean, I don't know. Those guys, they're all rich, so they of course don't want to lose money by AI taking over their industry. But like every other industry, AI will take over their industry. I just don't know if getting around the DMCA through AI is that bad, but that's controversial.
Really think about it, AI is kind of the only thing that is like as disruptive as other key points in time, like the rise of LimeWire and Napster, how that changed the music industry. With all that said, like, what are your thoughts here regarding AI music in general, or this new YouTube tool? If you were a musician or you are a musician, are you more scared of it, or do you think that it makes sense that artists are like, you know what, let's dabble, let's try it out? And then, the Red Cup Rebellion lives on, which if you don't know what I'm talking about, that is the strike by thousands of Starbucks workers taking place today. Because for those unfamiliar, today is Red Cup Day at Starbucks, where you can get a free reusable cup with the purchase of one of their holiday drinks. And notably, it is also one of the busiest days of the year for Starbucks, and a point of contention between the workers and the company. So this is now the second year in a row that the unionized Starbucks workers have staged a widespread walkout in protest of the company's staffing and scheduling policies. And with this, they're asking the company to shut down mobile orders on promotional days, saying that the volume of orders is unmanageable, resulting in overrun employees, angry customers, and wasted drinks and food. And according to the organizers, today's strike will be the largest in the 2 years workers have been organizing, with the Starbucks Workers United Union saying that they expect 5,000 workers to take part in today's walkout. One barista in Oklahoma City saying, understaffing hurts workers and also creates an unpleasant experience for customers. Starbucks
Someone died there.
They won't listen to workers, so we're advocating for ourselves by going on strike. And then as the Starbucks...
You think I'm slow, but no. I mean, people do die here. This place is killer. It's like I just wanted fishing pools that aren't involved with mobs, and that requires looking. Yeah, it should be all right here. Oh. There's a pillager. Can I get back up this without aggroing? Oh god, I don't think I can. That's annoying. Oh god. Well, I guess I can just go up that way, but I mean really, my destination is more this way. I like creeping around the zone. I think it's fun.
Opposed to the unionization efforts of their workers and has yet to reach a labor agreement with the more than 300 stores that have unionized. In fact, regional offices of the National Labor Relations Board have issued 111 complaints against the company for unfair labor practices, including refusal to negotiate. Now with this, though, Starbucks has claimed that the union is refusing to schedule negotiations and set about today's strike. Quote, we remain committed to working with all partners side by side to elevate the everyday, and we hope that Workers United's priorities will shift to include the shared success of our partners in negotiating contracts with those they represent. And then also kind of rubbing salt in the wound, saying that this strike will have very little impact on their operations today, saying it will only be affecting a small subset of their stores nationwide. And then, staying hydrated can actually be a challenge, and I cannot stress enough how important staying hydrated is for your body. So I thank God for our friends over at Liquid IV. I mean, this is the stuff that replenishes my electrolytes through workouts and hiking.
Electrolytes.
I take extra serious, since there was a time a while ago where I actually collapsed on a hike. There were numerous bad choices made. Not having this was one of them. So thank you to Liquid IV for being a part of my better decisions, but also for being a fantastic partner and sponsor of today's show. And to be blunt, Liquid IV works faster at hydrating you than water alone, and has 3 times the electrolytes of the leading sports drink. Liquid IV also offers 8 vitamins and nutrients for faster hydration and everyday wellness, and offers up to 100% daily value of essential B vitamins, B3, B5, B6, and B12. And like I said, I usually drink Liquid IV during my workouts, but it's also great for that hydrating nightcap after a night out. With the Hydration Multiplier Variety Pack, you can easily bring these on the go, and they're easy to pack for vacation. And it's so easy, you just tear, pour, shake, and drink. Which also, did I mention, it tastes great. And get this, from November 16th to the 27th, you can get 30% off plus free shipping off your entire Liquid IV order. Just click that link down below and use code DeFranco. And hey, if you see this after the 27th, no worries. Just use code DeFranco and get 20% off plus free shipping. And then, this is really interesting. Imagine there's no opioid crisis, there is no heroin crisis, there is no fentanyl crisis. But
Thank
instead,
God.
imagine
Testify.
for the past 2 decades, we've actually been looking at one massive cascading addiction crisis spanning all these drugs and more. Because that is the big lesson being taken away from a Washington Post analysis of 760 million opioid transactions detailed in a DEA database that ends in 2019. With a post there looking at shipments of oxycodone and hydrocodone pills in particular, which accounts for 3/4 of total opioid pill shipments to pharmacies. With that, finding something relatively positive. Shipments of the two drugs peaked back in 2011 at 12.8 billion and then plummeted almost by half to around 7 billion by 2019. And shipments of 80 milligram oxycodone pills, which are especially potent, dropping 92% over the same decade. In fact, every prescription opioid declined in the final 5 years of the data, except for one, buprenorphine, the drug used to treat opioid addiction. And it turns out that's pretty telling because the crackdown on opioids ironically spawned something even worse. Right around the late 2000s, early 2010s, two big shifts transformed the U.S. drug market. One, law enforcement clamped down on the diversion of opioids into the black market. The DEA began suing some of the largest pill distributors, while other agencies targeted pill mills and rogue doctors. And two, the medical profession got more careful about how they prescribed opioids for pain relief. Right, and this was partly due to more awareness of the harms here, and partly due to the CDC guidelines and state laws limiting prescriptions. And while those measures were arguably effective, they did nothing to help all the people who got addicted to pain meds. So with their doctors suddenly unwilling to fill their prescriptions, they turned to local drug dealers instead. And then those assholes sold them something that offered the same high for a fraction of the price. Heroin. But pretty soon, even other plant-based drugs like cocaine and marijuana that were cartel staples for decades got eclipsed by something 50 times more potent, fentanyl, right? And this synthetic opioid comes in powder or pill form, just like the prescription opioids consumers initially got hooked on. And for the cartels, fentanyl was actually easier both to make and to smuggle. Whereas it took months and acres of land to grow poppy for heroin, they only needed a small lab, some easily accessible chemicals, and a few days of time to make fentanyl. Which is why people like a researcher at UC San Francisco School of Medicine say, we created a huge cohort of people dependent on opioid pills, and when we pulled back on those, we created a heroin wave. And that quickly got replaced by fentanyl, and then people really started dying. Right? I mean, by 2017, fentanyl had become the leading cause of overdose deaths in America. The fatal overdoses from the drug surging 94% from 2019 to 2021. And the CDC estimating that it and other synthetic opioids made up 2/3 of the more than 110,000 overall overdose deaths in 2022. And all of that now making illegal fentanyl the leading cause of death for Americans aged 18 to 49, claiming more lives than car accidents, gun violence, or suicide. I mean, to try to help you visualize this, to give you some perspective, we're talking about nearly 200 people or a fully loaded Boeing 757 crashing and killing everyone on board every single day. But also, a key thing here, in the shift from oxycodone to fentanyl, we didn't just replace one crisis with another. Rather, we're literally dealing with the same crisis, just deadlier. With a post-analysis finding that most of the counties with the highest fentanyl death rates are the same ones that had the highest doses of prescription pills per capita years ago. And this concentrated in hard-hit states such as West Virginia, Kentucky, and Ohio. Right, so to try to sum it all up, greedy, corrupt pharmaceutical companies created a huge market full of opioid addicts. And then, as governments, lawsuits, and more prudent doctors forced them to pull out of that market, drug cartels took their place. Then, those cartels formed their own underground pharmaceutical industry and began supplying even more lethal versions of the original drugs. And then finally, bringing all this history full circle, we've seen growing amounts of counterfeit opioid pills meant to look exactly like real pharmaceuticals, except they contain fentanyl or other drugs. I mean, we've seen the share of overdose deaths involving counterfeit pills more than double between mid-2019 and late 2021, even tripling in Western states. So, of course, the big question is, what do we do? Right now, and this is not hyperbole, if you ask a number of Republicans, their answer is to bomb Mexico. But then also, when it is not, and to be short, most fentanyl is manufactured by Mexican drug cartels.
Oh my God.
Into American markets. So notably, most of it is coming not through illegal immigration, but rather official ports of entry, with traffickers hiding drugs inside passenger vehicles and commercial trucks. And so unlike Trump, who focused on building a wall that ignored the way narcotics actually enter the country, Biden has worked to improve scanning technology at border crossings. But notably here, CBP has failed to automate the process with AI software and centralized command centers. So you have agents having to manually review each scan. The big thing is that their jobs are exponentially harder today than it was a decade or two ago because the drugs are harder to catch. Right? I mean, a year's supply of pure fentanyl powder for the U.S. market could fit in the beds of just 2 pickup trucks. And the precursor chemicals, too, are far harder to confiscate. They come through seaports buried underneath a mountain of legitimate goods or get packaged with false labels. And then, even when they're discovered, it's hard to distinguish the chemicals destined for drug labs from those meant for everyday goods, such as cheese, soap, and epilepsy medication. And then, even when regulators put specific precursor chemicals on a watch list, traffickers just import legally available substances, basically pre-precursors, and combine them to form the regulated one instead. Whereas the poppy and coca needed to make heroin and cocaine came from just a few countries, fentanyl precursors come from all over the globe, all of which which is why the former associate director of the RAND Corporation's Drug Policy Research Center remarked, "You can't stop this stuff, otherwise you'd seriously disrupt the global economy." You've essentially got this massive game of cat and mouse between law enforcement.
You can stop this stuff, and you must stop it. You must stop letting them fucking be middlemen for a living. They must start doing something for humanity. They can't live in middlemen positions their whole fucking lives, being drug dealers or whatever the fuck, cartel or whatever. That can't happen. You cannot have that. You must have them making something, doing something with their lives. Like me, I would say, sure, I've been a drug dealer and I worked my whole life, and you know, I still feel like I myself am more productive than these people are. Like even the rich people, I'm like, eh.
Enforcement and drug cartels, but the latter keeps adapting to the former.
But honestly, you want to know who I think should be rich and famous? Is Walgreens. They stayed legal. They did it right. They did, you know. Walgreens should get all that drug money, in my opinion. It's I'm sorry, but I really do feel that. Not Walgreens, but just, you know, the people that deal with Big Pharma and all that, like the people that vendor for Big Pharma, let them make the money. I mean, this disgusting drug dealer down the block thing in Brooklyn getting shot on the corner and shit like that. Nope.
Thousands of consumers just keep dying in the meantime. But that's also where critics of the current policy argue that focusing on supply hasn't worked, so we need to attack demand as well. And to try to do that through a host of measures to help people suffering from...
So these quests, I'm going to tell you what I'm thinking, because, you know, it matters. These quests are too high for me. Even the level 15, no, these are far too high for me. They gave me an intro quest to go to... Lakeshore, the Defias Brotherhood, and I will go to Lakeshore and just see if there are quests and stuff that I can do to get a little bit more levels and stuff. I can grind here, but I feel like most of the quests yeah, I wasn't using the quest tracker, but I could use the quest tracker. I'm not going to, though. I will go follow through. I need the flight path anyways. So gonna do a lot of walking here.
Criminalizing them. While in the meantime, using a harm reduction approach to make sure that those who are addicted have access to clean needles, fentanyl test strips, and medical attention if they overdose. But also, even all of that is a story for another show. I tried to cram as much into today. So that
get them treatment,
today,
get them mental
this
health.
One part of the thing. This is supposed to be...
Stop illegalizing them. Don't go to their homes and throw them in jail for what you find. Thank you. Just, you know, just let them be people. Don't throw them in jail anymore. Don't throw me in jail anymore. Honestly, I'm gonna say something that's very controversial, but I will say it. Do you want to know what I think would equal a really good elderly life, like from like the age of 75 until 100 or whenever it is you die? I'd like to be on 4 or 5 drugs at once. I'd like to get up in the morning. I'd like to eat my marijuana cookie thing. I would like to take a opioid pill, take a meth pill, and alcohol in the evening, and I'd be happy. And none of those things should be illegal. And I'm hoping that, I'm 40 right now, I'm hoping that within 35 years this madness will end, but I don't think it's now.
Be a conversation. So I want to pass the question off to you.
I think it's unpopular now. I think people have only gotten more permissive towards drugs, not less. I think when the boomers die, the baby boomers die, their chokehold on this weird fucking drug thing will finally give up, and they'll, like, you can tell Biden's almost too old to keep pushing this fucking regime of anti-drug shit, and that's gonna be amazing if they keep. Maybe dinosaurs are good. I don't know. Maybe we can get the dinosaurs out of our system and stuff, and their judgment and their bullshit drug charges that ruined all of our lives and destroyed most of my friends and killed our country and killed our cities. I think maybe we can get better, you know, but I think it's going to take a long, long time. I don't think we're close to it right now at all. I don't think we're even remotely close to it in any way or form.
Thoughts on the situation. Also, if you or someone you know has experience with addiction and this whole situation, I'd love to hear from you as well. And then let's talk about yesterday today, where we take a look back at yesterday's show. We dive into those comments and see what y'all had to say, your opinions, your arguments, sometimes even your experiences connected to the stories. And yesterday there was a lot of conversation around that horrifying first story. Y'all saying things like, first story is really scary as a teen. Like, how damn heartless are some kids? Like, they killed him and now his life is over and the life of his family and friends are changed for the worse permanent. He went to school that day and never came home, and I hope they know that. As well as saying the lack of empathy, respect, and compassion teenagers have is actually terrifying. It's like we're seeing the outcome of the already disastrous youth mental health crisis. And it's not
Yeah, it's like the lack of capacity for like forgiveness in the young age is a little bit scary to me, I must admit. It worries me sometimes. Oh, I left a mining drone in space. Damn it, no. Oh well, I'm only using 4 anyways. How did that even happen? God damn it. Oh well. Always buy another one.
not looking good. My heart goes out to the boy's family. He died a hero, and I'm so sorry for their loss. This is something no one should experience. Some of y'all also took issue with minimizing language, saying things like, I've been saying this for years and years. We need to stop calling it bullying when it's harassment and abuse. We need to stop thinking it's playground misbehavior when it isn't any less than...
It's just harassment. It's like, I tend to agree with him too. Like, it's kind of like splitting heads. It doesn't really matter, splitting hairs. But, like, the reality is, bullying that you might face in school that tortures you and makes your life uncomfortable and you have to deal with it all day, and it's endless, and it's verbal harassment and physical harassment, maybe even bullying in the respect that, like, you're being beaten by somebody else. And there's a big difference between that and constant fucking harassment online. And I think they should be separate charges, and I think they should be the same charge. And I don't know, it's kind of weird. It's
workplace harassment or being assaulted in the street. And some added on to that, saying we need to stop telling kids to just tell their teachers and start encouraging parents to call the cops and file charges. And saying I guarantee that at least for several of those teens, it wasn't their first time they've hit someone. Some also saying there's no such thing as reverse racism, there's just racism. And in general, people want all those teenagers to be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. Also regarding the FTC and influencers, one of the most agreed with comments was, I think the influencer rules are fair. But adding, I do find it hilarious that influencers are being held to a higher standard on disclosure and sponsorship than our Supreme Court justices, senators, and congressmen. I think that we need to make law that if any of those government officials get money from anyone over a certain amount of money, I think they should have to wear like NASCAR uniforms. Right? They don't get to hide behind like nice looking suits. They got to be like, yeah, Exxon Mobil, they paid for the front patch. And personally, I love McConnell or Pelosi to end a speech with #spons. And finally, there were a lot of people that were split on the indie story. People saying things like, the story with the baby girl almost brought me to tears. If I saw progress and happiness in my child and some doctor was ultimately the one who forced my child to die, I don't know what I would do. I can't even imagine that type of pain. And as a new mother, the indie story tears me apart on so many levels. Say my own child who goes by the same name as a nickname, maybe fortunately without complications, but if I were in those parents' shoes, I feel like I would want to try to do the same as them. I am pro-medical euthanasia on nearly every level, and for personal autonomy regarding choice of death in the case of untreatable conditions that intrinsically harm quality of life. But I don't think I could do that for my own child. Does being a parent give me the right to be, quote, selfish if you look at it in that light, even if there's nearly no chance? I'd want to spend every little second with my child. But at the cost of prolonging their suffering, I don't know. Just the thought alone hurts. I really feel for those parents. It's not an easy decision, and there really isn't a right answer in my opinion. But that is going to be the end of today's daily dive into the news. But fantastic news for those of you here at the end. In addition to you being able to watch and catch up with more news you need to know, I got another secret video for you. You can just click or tap, or I got that link in the description as well. It's been a fantastic secret side project. It feels like an escape for me, so I'm just going to keep doing them until I don't want it. But if you like them, go subscribe to that secret channel. But with all that said, as always, my name's Philip DeFranco. You've just been filled in. I love yo faces, and I'll see you right back here next time.
Yeah, I like Philip DeFranco. He's saying.
Today, we're talking about the 8 teens who are getting charged with murder after a back alley after-school fight, if you could even call it that. The FTC is cracking down on influencers in a way that may drastically change the space. We break down the accusations against Pokimane and a response. This landmark case playing out right now could change journalism forever. We learn the wild truth about what happened with Paul Pelosi and Israel's latest raid on a Gazan hospital. We're talking about all that and so much more on today's brand new Philip DeFranco show. Dive into the news. So just make sure you're subscribed and let's jump into it. Starting with, even
Thank you, Philip Topanga, for the extra content from a stream. I've liked and sub to your channel. I see that he only got 41 likes on this 7 million subscriber video with 778,000 views. I think the unlike system is dying. I don't think people are even bothered doing it anymore.
Into the job, I am still shocked at people's capacity.
Look, I'm one of the 41 people out of the 778,000 that actually bothered to like this video, which is weird. It's almost like a statement they're making at that point. It's not that hard to, like, as you click the play button to come down and hit the thumbs key.
We'll see, like, what they are truly capable of. And this latest news that we have to talk about from Rancho High School in Las Vegas is yet another example, with initial reports saying that on November 1st, a group of 15 kids allegedly stole something from a small boy and then threw him in a trash can outside of a building. But that's not where it ends, because the boy's friend, 17-year-old Jonathan Lewis Jr., then confronted the group. But then the group attacked him too, with a bystander's video appearing to show them gathering around, kicking and beating him, which I can't include in this video because YouTube will just suppress it and kill it, but it's very easy to find. And after they left...
Okay, way back in like 2005, we were playing a show at Tarantula Billiards in downtown Denver, just across town, and we were loading the van. We were unloading the van to go to play the show. And one of the people with us started screaming, and she was like, "Look at that!" And we look over, and there was a bum being beaten to death by like 16, 14-year-old kids, something like that. I'd say they were all freshmen. Yeah, they were like freshmen. They were young, and we were watching this bum just literally get the shit beat out of him on the street of Denver. And it was nighttime. It was like 9:30. We came running over, and she, of all people, ran and tried to intercept and not intercept, but like try to save him. She was gonna go throw herself in front of them, and they booked when they saw that we had recognized what they had done, and they ran. There was like 15 of them or something like that. It was a gang, and we called the cops, and we sat there for an hour, and we took statements, and the guy died. He died, and I don't know when he died, but I mean, that's what the cops told us, and it was insane. We watched a man get stomped to death by a street gang in Denver, Colorado, and I wish this wasn't true. I wish I was exaggerating, but no, I mean, there was like 7 people there. They would all back it up. They saw this too, and ever since then, I've just not had faith in humanity.
Cooking is a lifelong pursuit.
To not stomp you when you're a bum on the street. Damn near kill you when you're a bum, you know? They'll damn near kill you. They don't care. They'll jump you. They'll do jump-ins by beating on bums. They don't care. And when you understand this about reality and not to fall, not to fall victim to it, you do a little bit better in life. Don't fall victim to that stupid ass shit. But I mean, that reality, it does exist, even in places where you might not think it would. I should go learn first aid at Stormwind, and I should have flown up there and then walked back. I'm learning. Yeah, but once I have the Lakeshore flight point, I can just fly back and get the first aid that I need. I keep trying to get to wool bandages, but I'm not pulling in much wool at all. My throne is almost capped, which is good, but I don't like these throne. I don't know.
They performed CPR. They rushed Jonathan to the hospital where he was put on life support. His father calling him a hero for standing up for this smaller student, also setting up a GoFundMe asking for $25,000 and saying, "We denounce violence as a means to resolve sociological conflict. We believe community members can coexist peacefully. We love our son and all children with all our hearts. Our son is a kind, loving, gentle young man who has the heart of a champion and the brightest loving energy that attracts people to him with love." And that GoFundMe ultimately raised over $100,000, but that didn't get to be like a silver lining to a bad situation, because then on November 7th, after days of shock and anger, Jonathan passed away from complications related to multiple blunt force injuries. So with that, we immediately
Crush syndrome,
calling for the arrests of these teens. But also, Jonathan's dad told local news,
"Justice is a deep, deep thing."
Look at that fucking nerd. Like, what was that, man? Like, what? I mean, I'm sorry, but what happened here? Why you guys got to treat each other like this? You look like nerds that play Magic the Gathering.
And there's a lot more to it than just these kids going to prison. To me, is and what is the community
They're gonna catch
do
murder
about this?
charges.
You know, when are people gonna wake up and start having some compassion for one another and have some empathy and actually have a sense of community and actually work towards real solutions for these children that are just going absolutely mad.
The big news regarding arrest. Las Vegas police yesterday announced that 8 of the attackers, all between 13 and 17, have been taken into custody and will be charged with murder. And they are police saying that they plan to charge them as adults and that they're also looking for at least 2 others. The authorities also going on to reveal more of what happened. Right? Apparently, this all started earlier in the week over a pair of stolen AirPods and possibly a marijuana vape pen, with all the kids involved then agreeing to meet after school for a back alley fight. The Thayer police believe Jonathan wasn't part of that initial agreement, that he only joined after.
Yeah, you want to... Okay, the nastiest I ever saw people get in public schools was if they thought that you had got in their backpack and took their shit. That's the nastiest I've ever seen kids be. They're like, oh, no, gotta fucking fight you or something. Yeah, people, yeah. No, not like I had a habit of doing that. I just, you know, that's the one that'll boil their blood and cause a huge fight like this. Oh, thank you. Cow. Die, cow. Shasha.
Told him that he was going to be fighting the other boys. Lieutenant Jason Johansson saying the video shows Jonathan taking off some of his clothes to get ready for the fight, and then
the minute the punch is thrown with that person, 10 subjects immediately swarm him, put him into the ground, and begin kicking, punching, and stomping on him.
Yeah, and it's worse when you're a kid because you're soft and you aren't like muscled, and you know you basically have zero armor. You're toilet tissue paper. You're like a lanky young kid with no muscle, no form, nothing. You're just skinny, and 10 people stomping on you of any age will pretty much break every bone in your body. You don't have you're like, now me, I feel like I could take a pretty good physical beating from 10 people. I'm like 15 pounds. I'm like weigh myself in a bit, but I'm like 315 pounds, and I'm big, but I'm muscular, and I'm gonna take some blows, probably break some bones pretty quick, but like, you know, I could take a pretty big beating, I think, before I would go down. Lanky kid like that, he's going down. He's gonna get concussions right away. They're gonna scramble his brain.
So well, that is
death might have been merciful here. And why were you stomping this kid? Why? What could possibly? Did he fuck your mother? I mean, what could he possibly have done? These fucking bullies and these trolls. What the fuck, man?
Or main story, there's also been a different kind of...
It was like me, like my thing. I like, this dude beat on me like 7 times or something like that. I don't know. I didn't count. It would have been like a lot. It was a lot. And I couldn't do anything because I had no place to go, and it was the winter. I would have died. And at that point, like, you know, I kept filing assault charges and nothing happened. And I was like, they kept asking me, why do you keep getting beaten by this dude half your size? Because I'm a pacifist and it's assault. Take him to jail. If I attack him, you're gonna put me in probation violation, and you guys are already doing that and scaring me with like threats of like 10 years. If I strike this guy, it's just assault on my end, and because I'm the one currently on probation. I'm the one they're like trust me, I can't throw a fist. I can't punch him. I'll go to jail. And so they're like, well, you should defend yourself. And even the cops said that. A couple times they said, you should defend yourself. This guy's half your size. No, because then I'm on probation. I go to jail. You say right to their fucking face. No, it's assault. And at that point, they're like, well, but he swung the first blow. Yeah, sure, until he tells you otherwise and you believe him. And that's what happened too. He was like, nope, like I didn't do shit to him. He's lying. Yeah, sure. I beat the fuck out of myself to the point where I was bloody faced. Yeah, that totally. I made that up. Yeah, fucking Denver pigs. And so, you know, like, so at that point, like, you know, we can't haul off and Will Smith smack somebody in the face anymore. We can't do that.
Hail, adventurer. I I am charged to patrol this stretch of road. Although the road is safe for now, I've seen Knoll encampments to the north and east of here. Lakeshire must know of the gathering Knoll force. Report to Deputy Felden in Lakeshire and tell him of the Knolls. Do this, and I'm sure Felden will offer you a scout's wage. Felden's usually inspecting the area south of the bridge to Lakeshire.
Thrashers are 14. Yeah, at least I have a turn. 2 turn-ins here for some reason. I thought I only had 1. No, now I have 2. I have 2. Encroaching Knolls, they're 16, but hopefully there will be enough of a pickup quest here.
And that because you have people saying, Jonathan was white, and it at least appears that all of his assailants were black. And around that one tweet going absolutely viral for saying over the weekend, you didn't hear anything about this story because it doesn't fit the narrative. Right? In that account, now they're suggesting either media bias or that race was a factor. Well, obviously that conversation and debate has continued.
It's not, though. I don't think race would have been a factor. I think it's bullying. I think he's probably a... Never mind. I was gonna say a word that might have got me in trouble.
Online. Yesterday, you had Johansson telling reporters.
It's you have to follow the evidence, and the only thing I'll say to that is there is
that
no
picture is
evidence.
cringe. They couldn't get a normal picture of him smiling for like the yearbook or something. They've got like the fucking AirPods chill back gangsta-lean thing. I don't really get that.
Time that this is a hate crime, and one thing I can assure you is if this was a hate crime, there would be someone getting arrested for charges related to being hate crime.
Right now,
I have no evidence at all.
There are red ridge
Also, in this situation, I think it's important to highlight like the sheer fear that this whole situation has caused for the community. Now, many calling into question other
may
fights
not
the
be
high
the
school
only
where this
humans
happened.
under siege. Here is your pay, though you bring us dire news, and it comes at a bad time, for we are ill-equipped to deal with it. We don't have men to spare, but something must be done about those Knolls you reported to me. Scout Southern Red Ridge for Knolls. Harry them, kill those you can, and report back to me with a count of their numbers and an assessment of the threat they present. You may find those Knolls camped all along the southern road of Red Ridge. Do this for the Stormwind Army, adventurer, and you will be rewarded.
We're gonna get a bunch of RP here. I've never heard these quests voiced. That I did Westfall already, but this is new content for me here, which is good. It's not new content; it's really old content that I've done a lot, but. No, never mind. They didn't give me a voice for that one. No kids' voices, I guess. Grimjow. Why does that name seem familiar?
I've been using so much iron keeping the Stormwind guards outfitted, I don't have enough to supply the stable's horses with shoes. Take this note to Blacksmith Argus in Goldshear. It explains to him my problem and requests a shipment of horseshoes.
Greetings. Light bless you. Looking for
Probably
something
doing that one next since, well, I guess I don't have to go back to Stormwind. Never mind. I don't need to go. Oh yeah, I was going to do first aid, yeah. Oh, hey, it's an inn.
I find myself in quite a pinch here, adventurer. The bottles are close to running dry. The latest booze shipment is long overdue.
That's a problem.
The invasion has been held.
Yep.
Perhaps you can go to work for me? I need you to pick up a keg of Thunderbrew Lager from Grim Booze Thunderbrew in the Westfall Hills, a cask of Merlot from Stormwind, a bottle of moonshine from Darkshire, and a skin of sweet rum from Goldshear. Bring those back to me, and I will see to it you are rewarded.
Indeed. I've never listened or read that quest before. I had no idea why.
Can you do me a favor? I've prepared a lunch for Guard Parker, but he's out on patrol. He's a big, strong Stormwind guard who can defend himself, but it's much too dangerous out there for a townsperson like me. So if you deliver his lunch for me, then come back here and I'll give you a free lunch. Parker patrols the stretch of road leading to Duskwood. Safe travels. Welcome to my inn, weary traveler. What can I do for you? Be careful.
Have a good one. Bye-bye.
Need help? Safe travels. Be careful.
Always got to look at the recipes of the vendors that you're seeing, because there's what's called limited supply on the vendor that will always go for 5 times whatever you're paying. So limited supply is something you always look for. In the backs of vendors, logs and stuff, there will be something there that says 1 available, and that's the stuff that you look for.
Welcome to my inn, weary traveler. What can I do for you?
Yeah, I think I can fish here. This is a valid place and time to fish. They want you to fish this lake.
What can I do for you?
Hey, I can upgrade my fishing pole. That's good. Yep, there was a limited supply on a strong fishing pole. I got that. That's good. I can use night crawlers now as opposed to shiny baubles, so I will. This is expensive, but whatever. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I can always go farm. I actually enjoy farming at this level. It's like trimming bonsais for me. I don't mind it. Like that rabbit, right? It seems like nothing, but that rabbit to me is like a free piece of leather. He's like, I don't know, he's like 20 copper. So I hit him and I skin him. This game had rival crafting to games such as like New World in its own weird way. It didn't have chopping wood, sadly, or like picking weeds or herbs or that kind of thing, but I mean, it did have herbs, but it's not the same.
I can teach you fishing skills.
Good.
On Junior, they're also telling a local reporter.
It can happen to anybody. It can happen for me just for like, because I have a natural mean face. It can happen to me just from looking at somebody the wrong way.
But ultimately, that is where we are with this infuriating and heartbreaking story right now. And while we wait to see...
Kids be stomping on people. Yeah.
What are your thoughts here and why? And then the legal tug of war over this baby girl, Indy Gregory, has finally come to an end. But if you don't know Indy, she was born in February to a family in England. But her parents never actually took her home because she suffered from a rare and incurable condition that was diagnosed in June as mitochondrial disease. And her specific mutation causing respiratory insufficiency, abnormalities in the brain, developmental arrest, and eventually premature death. And then to make matters worse, the family said Indy's condition worsened after she caught an infection at the hospital in August. So they're having to go on a ventilator on 8 occasions and undergoing cardiac arrest 3 times, according to court records. So by September, Indy's doctors put her on full life support, but they also petitioned the High Court in London.
This quiver might be good for me.
This poor girl through more pain, and that it was in her best interest to stop treating her. But you also had Indy's parents wanting to keep her alive as long as possible.
Well, no, quivers won't.
On her good days, she is babbling, making noises, moving all her limbs. She can definitely experience
10% isn't worth it to me to lose the storage space.
You know she is disabled, but you don't just let disabled people die. You just want to give her a chance. But a judge actually sided with the hospital in October, saying, in short, the significant pain experienced by this lovely little girl is not justified when set against an incurable set of conditions, a very short lifespan, no prospect of recovery, and, at best, minimal engagement with the world around her. And so then, the parents, backed by a Christian legal group, took the case to the High Court, and the European Court.
What I am about to tell you could cost me my life. The Defias gang is up to something big. Last I heard, they were working in conjunction with various gnolls, kobolds, and even goblins. Take this note to Stoutman.
Italy's
It
Prime Minister
explains
Giorgia
as much
Meloni
as I know on
championing
the
the parents'
subject.
case, and Indy was actually given Italian citizenship. But then a UK judge refused to transfer the girl to the Vatican again, saying that it is not in her best interest and ordered her life support to be removed immediately. And this week, Indy was transferred to a hospice where she took her last breaths in her mother's arms. And so while Indy's life has been cut short, the conversation around it, of course, has continued. And so with that, the question I leave you with now are, what are your thoughts? What do you think is more important here, parental autonomy or professional medical opinion? And while every kind of medical
Parental autonomy.
one to this, I'd say give me your thoughts on this one specifically and go from
Parental
there.
autonomy every
Drama and
time.
Business news. Let's talk about this Pokimane controversy, which is a massive online creator. And just this week, she launched a snack company called Mina Snacks. And with that writing, I could never find the perfect healthy snack that tasted good. So I made one for us. The Midnight Mini Cookies are made with real non-GMO ingredients and added vitamin D. She made
These are trying times, adventurer. The township is under constant siege. Without reinforcements,
Midnight Mini Cookies cost $28, and while some are very excited about the venture, others are calling it a scam. The people accusing Pokimane and her team of not actually creating or making these cookies like they said, but throwing a new brand on an already existing product. And in part because you Twitter users know
I'm tempted to buy a bag of these. Just to sit them in my fucking closet. So yeah, just to see, because if she gets canceled, all those bags in the world will get bought up, and if I have one, I have one. If I don't, I won't. And then what does the bag of cookies become?
Creation Foods has a product called Midnight Mini Cookies by Tootsie, with those at least at one point being sold at Costco. And while information about those cookies isn't available on their website, that Twitter user did some digging to find the nutrition information and ingredients to compare them to Pokémon's brand. And they said they discovered that in addition to these snacks bearing the same name, they also had the same amount of calories, carbs, fat, and protein, and the same number of cookies per serving size. And that person writing, this would mean that Mina Snacks is possibly a cash grab attempt where all they needed to do was establish the company and branding. No work into the cookies themselves was put into it, and the claim of creating the cookie is allegedly a lie. You also had others claiming that on top of all that, this is just rebranded with an inflated price. And so with all this, you had some pissed off, sounding off on it, others defending Pokimane, or people saying there's nothing nefarious about all this, it's just how a lot of products work. Though also very notably, you had a spokesperson for Pokimane's snack brand denying that this is some sort of copy and paste situation in a statement to Exerto, saying our product formulation is unique to Mina and exclusive to us, and adding we can confirm the Midnight Mini Cookies were in development for 2 years. This process included many rounds of testing and ingredient changes. And in fact, the situation got so big, Pokimane herself addressed it this morning. And they're noting that the same manufacturer was used between those two cookies, but it's not quite the same situation everyone has assumed here, saying that the current batch of Mina cookies was made 3 weeks ago with its own formula and adding. The cookies they are being compared to were also made by our manufacturer, Creation Foods. The compared cookies had one test batch sold before they were retired. Months later, we partnered with Creation Foods and fell in love with the flavor profile of the Midnight Cookie. And adding, we then decided to work together to refine and improve the formula. While the ingredients list may look similar, they are entirely different in terms of ingredient quality, quantity, ratios, sourcing, the size, texture of the cookie, and of course the added vitamin D. And saying refining formulas is a very common practice in the food industry, and around 70 to 80% of the food you see in grocery stores are white label. And then regarding the price, she said, hey, it's not cheap to make a healthy gluten-free snack with added vitamins, and this is not some cash grab. Noting there that she rarely does sponsorships and hasn't even sold merch in a while. Or so if she wanted fast cash, this would be actually really weird.
His sap broke for some reason.
It's interesting to see how people respond to this. Personally, based off of everything I have seen, I believe her here. But that said, the reality of the situation and the public perception of it, or how people act, that those don't always add up. Or you put in this position where you're having to explain behind the scenes to a general public that might not be that well versed in. But also that said, the marketing monkey part of my brain wonders if this supposed controversy actually benefits her or it hurts her. Because for her, probably for better and worse, now more people know about this brand because of this controversy. Time will tell. That's the story. Some of my personal opinion on it. Whether you agree or you disagree with me, I'd love to hear from you. And then, we all have that person in our life who is impossible to shop for. But thanks to today's sponsor, Boxu, they've made the impossible possible. Because Boxu is a premium Japanese snack box working with family businesses all over Japan to deliver a new theme of authentic treats each month. This makes a great gift idea because it is more than a gift. It's unique and more of an experience. I recently gifted a box to my dad who he loves snacking, and I don't think he's had that kind of snacking experience before. And he received the first Boxu box, which is Seasons of Japan, and like I thought, he loved it. He also, I will say, took it pretty seriously. Like, he read through the booklet that comes in each box to learn about more of the snacks and the culture of Japan. And while he did enjoy everything, the Yokohama butter cookie was his latest obsession. I think that, along with the organic Genmaicha tea, it was cool seeing him enjoy this and actually getting like a thank you, like, for trying something new. I will also say I'm personally obsessed with the white strawberries. Right? They're chocolate infused strawberries that work any time of day, or at least that's what I tell myself. Oh my god, I'm just gonna keep it in my mouth. Don't let my tongue have some fun. What did he say? I know James is gonna be like, pause. But main thing, if you want to give the gift of authentic Japanese snacks and support the channel, just click the link in the description and use my code DeFranco to get $15 off your first Boxu order. And then, so one way to characterize this story is that right-wing YouTubers let an inflatable unicorn to bludgeon an old man for the content. Or I guess the other way to put it is that the man who attacked Nancy Pelosi's husband finally took the stand in his trial to explain why he did what he did. Or so you probably remember that 43-year-old David DePatt broke into the Pelosi home late last year looking for Nancy and then assaulted Paul Pelosi with a hammer. Paul, spending 6 days in the hospital for a fractured skull and injuries to his arm and hand. So DePatt was charged with attempted kidnapping of a federal official and assault upon an immediate family member of the official on account of her job duties. Because the charges involve assault on a federal official, prosecutors have to prove that his actions were motivated by Nancy's elected position. position, which really shouldn't be too hard since he admitted to police that he went there to interrogate her about Russiagate and expose the supposed political corruption in Congress. But then you have DePapp's defense arguing, hey, he wasn't motivated by Nancy's political office, but rather his belief in right-wing conspiracy theories. And yesterday, DePapp took to the stand to explain how his life's trajectory put him inside the Pelosi household, with him claiming that he used to have left-wing political beliefs before a transformation that started when he was living in a garage without a toilet or shower, playing video games for hours at a time. And according to him, he fell down the rabbit hole of Gamergate, an anti-feminist trend that became huge in the gaming world and the broader internet starting in 2014, with him saying that he listened to right-wing podcasters naming James Lindsay, watched political YouTube videos that radicalized him, and in court, he appeared to sob as he described how the mainstream media lied about Trump and believed that
guarding Lakeshore from the orcs.
So he said he developed a list.
Before you go back to Darcy, can you bring her some flowers for me? You can get them at the herbalist shop back in Lakeshire, at the west end of town. But when you get the flowers, don't tell the herbalist Marty whom they're from or whom they're for.
Targets led by a university professor that he believed was, quote, trying to turn our schools into pedophile molestation factories. And those names including Gavin Newsom, Tom Hanks, Adam Schiff, Mike Pence, Bernie Sanders, George Soros, and former Attorney General Bill Barr.
They act like Mike Pence is one of us. Mike Pence is the furthest thing from the left that I can think of. They act like Mike Pence is one of these weird woke leaders. No, you guys can have him. Go hang him if you need to. We don't want him. He was never one of us. He doesn't rate with any of those other leftist icons. He's not a leftist. I mean, he's just sane, I think. He saw the news coming and he got out, and Trump didn't, and now we have an impeachment and a loss of an election and all this trauma. And no, I don't like Mike Pence, but I'm just saying he's not one of us.
Is that he formulated a grand plan that involved luring them to the Pelosi home. And then, after he got his targets to admit to corruption, he would ask the president to pardon everyone he considered a criminal, explaining while crying, it's just easier giving them a pardon so we can move forward as a country.
Oh my God. Listen to the weird, depraved, stupid shit coming out of your mouth. Oh, so we can all heal as a people. No, you're just a weird rightist with a weird, stupid brain.
With him saying that he planned to wear an inflatable unicorn costume and upload his interrogation of Nancy online, and adding that if she lied, quote, I was going to break her kneecaps. When asked why he struck Paul after the police arrived, he said, quote, I reacted because my plan was basically ruined. He was never my target, and I'm sorry that he got hurt. So whether any of that is actually sincere or just repeating what his lawyers told him, I'll leave that to you. Ultimately, that is where we are with the situation.
Especially in dangerous times like these. Here is your bouquet. I chose daffodils for you. They're my favorite.
Aww. They curated the AI voice.
Hey there. Oh, those are lovely. I can't wait to put them in some water. But these are Marty's favorite flowers. Parker didn't have you go to that jealous vixen for this bouquet, did he? You didn't tell her who they were for, did you? If you did, then it wouldn't surprise me if she poisoned them. Oh, but it's not your fault. Thank you, and here's your meal. Can I help you?
Okay.
Just remind you that half the country and online still joke about this situation. And many of those who do still characterize it in ways that have been debunked, saying there was a gay lovers tussle that got exposed and everyone freaked out, instead of the genuinely insane and dangerous situation that it was. And then the focus on Israel's war in Gaza continues to centralize around the regions, hospitals, and Al-Shifa Hospital in particular, as IDF troops close in on the site. When we talked about this 2 days ago, there were widespread reports that fighting was happening all around the hospital and that power had been lost, the latter just making a ton of medical emergencies at the hospital even worse. But for Israel, Shifa was a major point of contention, as they have long accused Hamas of using it, or at least bunkers underneath the hospital, as a base of operations, and described it as the, quote, beating heart of Hamas operations. Something that the IDF claims is indisputable now after its troops entered the hospital and they said they found weapons and a terror infrastructure inside. There you had Reuters reporting that once inside, things were relatively calm, saying soldiers calmly searched the place and only sporadic shooting could be heard, although it's unclear if that was from inside or outside the building. So with this, there's now an expectation that more information about the alleged command center hiding underneath could be coming soon. But there, also Also, the big question for most is what happened to the patients. Or they had been without power for a while, so those needing medical systems to stay alive, such as premature babies, were in a real bad spot. And as of right now, as recording this video, it is unknown how many have died because of that fuel shortage. But you had the Israeli military saying, we can confirm that incubators, baby food, and medical supplies brought by IDF tanks from Israel have successfully reached the Shifa hospital. Our medical teams and Arabic-speaking soldiers are on the ground to ensure that these supplies reach those in need. They also released footage alongside that showing at least some supplies making its way there. We also just got the news this morning that at least some Israeli forces are leaving the hospital after conducting interrogations, according to an interview with Gaza's director of hospitals. They're looking like it's mostly the frontline soldiers, such as the tanks that have left. Now, that said, for its part, Hamas has blasted Israel's description of the situation and said that the claim that weapons were found were, quote, a continuation of the lies and cheap propaganda through which Israel is trying to give justification for its crime aimed at destroying the health sector in Gaza. However, you also have the U.S. backing Israeli claims that Shifa was also used as a cover for Hamas, and even some Gazans are saying that, at the very least, Hamas was hiding among civilians. With the most viral example of this coming from an Al Jazeera interview from within a hospital, where in this interview they're talking about how Israel bombed a compound, and this person saying, it was not one house that was bombed, an entire compound was erased, over 15 or 20 houses. Is this a humane act? No, this is a criminal act. And then saying, as for the resistance, they come and hide among the people. Why are they hiding among the people? Why don't they go to hell and hide there instead? And then much to his frustration, the Al Jazeera reporter cut the interview short and walked on. And that entire exchange leading many to accuse Al Jazeera of editorializing and covering up anything that shows Hamas engaging in war crimes such as using human shields. However, at the same time, even if Hamas is using human shields, Israel continues to face pressure for a ceasefire. As many out there right now feel like they are still handling the situation with, at the very least, a hammer rather than a scalpel. Right, and this is Gaza still continues to get bombed.
Where would you like to
government
fly to?
spokesperson even addressing this in an interview saying,
You're right, the optics are bad, but we are not fighting for our image. We are fighting for survival.
and then going on to say, the optics of the October 7th massacre are even worse. 1,200 people who were brutally executed, butchered, beheaded, burned. Many of them were tortured and mutilated before they were killed, their bodies mutilated after they were killed. That is what we are fighting against, and our right to self-defense, our duty of self-defense is to eliminate the terrorist organization that did that. Although according to reports, that has come at the cost of more than 11,000 Palestinians killed, including more than 4,600 children. And even though Israel has implemented daily 4-hour humanitarian corridors, they still face pressure for a ceasefire, as well as pressure from the U.S. government to allow way more humanitarian aid into Gaza, especially because the refugee situation in the southern part of the territory continues to get worse and worse. But that is where we are for now in this developing situation, and we'll have to wait to see what comes next. And then we need to talk about this landmark case playing out right now that pits journalistic integrity against individual privacy, because the court's decision here could reshape the landscape of American journalism. Right, so the defendant here is Catherine Herridge, a reporter who used to work at Fox News and now works at CBS. What she's under fire for is a series of stories Fox aired back in 2017 about Yanping Chen, who's a Chinese-American scientist that the FBI investigated for years to see whether she lied about past work with the Chinese military, and more importantly, whether she used a professional school that she founded in Virginia to help the Chinese government obtain information about American service members. So in her reporting, Herridge obtained personal photographs, FBI documents, and information from Chen's immigration forms, among other things. While the FBI ultimately closed its investigation, Chen claimed that her reputation was damaged by those leaked details, so she sued the government. And obviously here, the specific people who leaked the details is relevant. So in August, a federal judge ordered Herridge to be interviewed under oath about her sources, saying there that Chen's need for the requested evidence overcomes Herridge's qualified First Amendment privilege in this case. But Herridge refused dozens of times to say who her sources were, citing her First Amendment rights as a journalist. And now, Chen's lawyers are asking the judge to hold Herridge in contempt, with him specifically asking for a fine that would increase over time until the reporter finally buckles. So now you have the situation where the judge has to decide what's more important: a journalist's professional obligation to protect her confidential sources, or an individual's right to pursue compensation over perceived privacy violations by the government. With what we've seen in the past, similar cases haven't always resolved in the journalist's favor. Like, for example, in 2005, when New York Times reporter Judith Miller spent 85 days in jail after being held in contempt for refusing to divulge a source on a story about Bush's war in Iraq, with Miller there very notably eventually giving up her source, though only after that person gave her permission to do so. But unlike in that case, Herridge is being sued.
Yeah, but she won't compromise. The good ones won't. They won't. They still won't. They know. It's just like doctor-patient confidentiality or any of that. If they violate once, they're never going to be trusted again. So they just don't violate the source. And can you blame them? No. That's what I would do. That's my job. That's what being a journalist is. You don't violate the sanctity of your source, and that way you can get your information. And
Lloyd Abrams argues that both are dangerous because sources will be too scared to come forward with sensitive information. Saying, quote, allowing confidential sources to be ordered, revealed, means that the public will have less information. The more significant the story, the more significant the topic, the greater the loss to the public in not knowing the truth about what's going on. So now, while we wait to see how this plays out, you have defenders of Herridge calling for a federal version of the reporter shield laws that you have in many states that protect journalists from subpoenas and the forced disclosure of sources. And then, we all have daily outfit choices, and sometimes that choice needs to take you from day to night. Running out for a morning coffee and ended up at
Magistrate Solomon is a noble leader. His words carry great weight with me. I shall seek the counsel of the king and make the situation clear to him. Assure the good judge that he has the Stormwind Army's support. Reinforcements will be sent as soon as word is given from His Majesty. While I wait for a response from the king, I want you to carry this letter to Magistrate Solomon. Dismissed, adventurer.
Now let's get me closer to 15. At 15, I could just go grind for a while, like get a level somewhere, like go to Westfall and grind, I don't know, something. Well, let's get all the incidentals out of the way. They sent me to Loch Modan, and that's an option as well. I could expand out and go do quests in other places. I like Loch Modan, and it would be a good journey in terms of XP. So perhaps we go there just to get the flight path, as well as the Ironforge flight path. Oops. Half the bosses are dead, but the tank left or something. I feel like something just happened to my DPI. It's annoying. I don't know what just happened. I clicked the button and something bad happened. What is it? It's like, is it interface? No, it's controls, huh? Ah. Mouse look speed is good. Yeah, but then, and the sensitivity is good. It's the something to do with my mouse program, I think. I don't know what that was, but yeah, we're just gonna go check the DPI. Yeah, that seems right, but it doesn't feel right. It feels like super, super fucking fast suddenly. I don't know. I think I'd like you to reload the program. I think something bad happened there. I think I broke the program here. Yeah, because like it's the same difference without the DPI. The program froze or something dumb. Yep, there we go.
By the weather, or even knowing the forecast is calling for rain or
there
snow.
we are. There's my mouse program died, I think.
Well, that is where the fantastic partner of the PDS comes in. Vessi. Vessi sneakers are the unsung hero of your outfit and could also be a lifesaver. And these sneakers kept me dry during the crazy rain last spring. You know, most of you have torrential weather way more than we do in Southern California, though. This week is supposed to be a fun one.
I would be glad to teach you anything that would aid your journey.
By weather. And Vessi sneakers come in light or dark colorways. They look great.
I would be glad to teach you anything that would aid your journey.
They also don't stop at sneakers, right? Check out their waterproof products like the Overcast jacket, gloves, sling bags, and more. And this is your heads up to go to Vessi.com/DeFranco from November 17th to the 27th to get exclusive discounts during their biggest sale of the year. That's Vessi.com/DeFranco and go get your size while they still have it. And then, the FTC may have just changed the influencer industry as we know it, with the FTC just today announcing a major new crackdown on huge food industry players as well as influencers for failing to properly disclose ads and sponsored content promoting artificial sweeteners and sugary foods. And in that press release this morning, the agency said that it sent warning letters to American Beverage, a huge lobbying group with members like Coca-Cola and PepsiCo and the Canadian Sugar Institute. That's in addition to a dozen health influencers who together have more than 6 million followers on TikTok and Instagram. Right, and very notably here, this move comes after the Washington Post published a sweeping investigation back in September that revealed how those two trade groups had paid influencers to promote their messages in posts without proper disclosures. And what's more, that report also found that American Beverage had paid a dozen health influencers to post videos that tried to undercut health warnings from the World Health Organization about the artificial sweetener aspartame, which is in many diet sodas. And you also have the Canadian Sugar Institute sponsoring at least another 12 influencers to make videos that told people to give into their sugar cravings, made fun of advice to limit sugar intake, and told parents to let kids eat as much candy as they wanted. Now, at the time, both industry groups responded to the report by claiming that the nutrition influencers had properly disclosed that they were being paid for these social media campaigns through hashtags and other information in the posts. And some of the influencers in question also said they believed they were in compliance with disclosure rules. But the FTC has now made it abundantly clear that many of those claims are not true.
It seems an eternity since I was a boy working the farm in Westfall. They say you can never go back, and it's true. Doubly true in my case. My family's home has been burned down and taken over by thieves. I have spoken with my father about the fate of some of my possessions, including my first compass. He was unable to save them. However, he also says that they should be hidden away on the farm. You'll find the Alexton farmstead west of Sentinel Hill. Perhaps you could go and retrieve it for me.
Disclosure rules and sent letters to all the influencers in both trade groups warning them of those violations, as well as saying in the press release that all those posts either didn't disclose their sponsors at all or contained disclosures that were inadequate, with the letters explaining that while some of the posts included disclosures like #sponsored or #ad, they said that those were not clear enough because they were often buried several lines down, with the FTC also noting that descriptions for TikTok and Instagram posts are often shortened and people would not see those unless they intentionally expanded them, as well as adding that in both TikToks and Instagram Reels, the text is small, sometimes hard to see with the video background, and does not stand out. Letters also noted that some influencers relied on the paid partnership
Welcome to my
disclosure tools,
inquiry,
and while
traveler.
they should
What can I do
always
for
do
you?
that, the agency has now made it clear that they do not think that goes far enough because it's too easy to miss in posts. And what's more, the agency said that even if the influencers did those disclosures, many of the posts didn't say who their sponsor was or did so in a way that wasn't adequate, like by abbreviating their name. And this one specifically is the most important here. The FTC said that none of the videos they reviewed from any of the influencers included any kind of disclosure within the body of the video itself. There was no text on screen in the videos, and the influencers also never said anything to the effect out loud in those sponsored clips. And the agency explicitly saying that disclosures need to be made in their videos themselves, like through large text superimposed on the screen, as well as adding that the videos where endorsements are made audibly, they need to also include an audible disclosure. So the influencer would have to make that disclosure out loud in the video. And if the videos include
Just browsing my wares, or is there something specific I can help you find today?
The disclosure out loud.
Best
and
deals in
visual
all of
text on
Stormwind,
the
my
screen.
friend.
Now with all
You'll
that, as
find
far
it.
as what happens
What can
next,
I
the
help you
FTC
with?
warning the trade groups and influencers that they have 15 days to respond with how they're going to fix these concerns and urge them to review posts to make sure they meet requirements. And noting that any future violation will result in a $50,000 fine, and that violation of federal FTC law could result in legal action. Right, so with this, while this is absolutely massive because it marks the first time ever that the agency has taken enforcement action against major food and beverage industry groups for their social media marketing strategies, it is also incredibly significant because it goes way beyond just this industry. Right? I mean, it has the potential to shake up the entire influencer economy. And that's something that's been explicitly stated by Samuel Levine, the director of the FTC's Bureau of Consumer Protection, with him telling the Post that the FTC is intentionally trying to set a precedent for social media disclosures that apply to the entire influencer marketing industry, and saying that he believes this crackdown, quote, is going to be heard loud and clear, not only from trade associations and influencers in this space, but also in other industries that may think that influencers don't need to disclose their connections. And we've also seen experts echoing all of this, saying that this new crackdown could usher in a new era for the FTC, one notably marked by much stronger enforcement of much tougher rules. And then, late last weekend, there was news that South Africa was going after farms that were, quote, too white, and farmers who didn't meet certain black economic empowerment targets would lose access to export permits, particularly to places like Europe, which is a major deal for many farms. We're not going to get into every single detail, but the broad strokes here are that it applied to farms making over $534,000 a year, and the products affected included dairy products, fruits and its derivatives, sugars, yeast, and grapes, as well as wine, which all in all pretty much means some of the largest parts of the South African agricultural market. And all this is ever since the end of apartheid, the South African government has sought to claw back land and economic power from white South Africans, and this has all kind of been an extension of that. But also very notably here, critics claiming at this point it's just racism in reverse, with policies like limiting how much water white farms get or an alleged lack of going after anti-white attacks, with comments like, farms that are too white will no longer be allowed to export to Britain and the European Union in terms of new regulations that the government has quietly introduced. I really hope the world sees what's going on here in South Africa. This is not going to end well. But then, in a twist, about a day after these reports went out, the South African government said it actually had no plans for any such policy. However, it's not like this story just came out of thin air. Both the Johannesburg-based City Press and Rapport newspapers got their info
Where
from
is
the
it you would like
government.
to
Notice
go
published
last?
November
For
2nd.
just a
However,
few
the government
coin,
here
my
claims
griffins
the
can
articles,
get
quote,
ye there
misrepresented
faster
the
than even the
government's message about
swiftest
procedure
horse.
and annual application for
These
export
great
limits.
beasts
These
know
requirements are
paths
not
that
new,
you
and
can't
there is
find
no
on foot
threshold or
that'll
level
get
that
you
an
there
applicant
fast
must
and
reach to
maybe
be awarded
show
a
you
permit. And
something
this statement
new
also
at
went
the
on to
same
clarify
time.
that these requirements are part of an
These
agreement
great
with the EU
beasts
and UK
know
to help its
paths
farmers
that-
get duty-free exports, so there aren't massive taxes laid on top of it, which can kill the industry. And while some with this were happy to hear that such a policy didn't exist, it still didn't satisfy everyone. And that is because race-based milestones still exist across South Africa, including in its farming industries. Although at the same time, you have many arguing that these are necessary to even give black and mixed South Africans a chance to break into an industry that has long been dominated by white farmers. But now, with all that said, I gotta pass the question off to you. What are your thoughts here? And then let's talk about yesterday today, where we take a look back at yesterday's show. We dive into those comments to see what y'all had to say. What are your thoughts? What are your opinions? Where do you stand on things? Why? Starting with all the talk around that fight that almost broke out in the Senate, all that chest puffing. They all saying things like, senators reading mean tweets to each other during a hearing is equal parts hilarious and horrifying. And people saying, agreed, senators de-escalating by speaking to two prominent people, like the belligerent children they're acting like. It sounds like a hilarious concept for a comedy skit. Him actually having to do so in real life is surreal. Then, regarding the deep dive on the salmon situation, you guys left comments like, I was deeply moved by the insights into the salmon and how the American government and native tribes had a treaty to protect fishing rights. As an indigenous Australian, I felt a connection to this struggle. We've experienced a decline in native species, and the absence of similar treaties has made it difficult to preserve our cultural practices for future generations. Our storytelling tradition is integral to passing on our culture, and the inability to take your young ones fishing has posed a significant challenge. Thank you, Phil, for shedding light on this crucial issue. Some claiming the salmon issue in Oregon is insane, saying we're shooting seals because they're eating the salmon made easier to catch by the dams and all that. It's idiotic. Others adding my husband's uncle lives in Alaska and utilizes the salmon up there for food. He said the salmon problem has been getting worse and worse. What used to be rivers overflowing with salmon of all kinds, a lot of those rivers and ponds no longer see salmon coming back upstream. It's so sad. Also, regarding the Wile E. Coyote situation, we had some claim. I was an animator on Coyote versus Acme, and I was devastated to hear about it being shelved. So many talented people worked on that film for years, and to have some suits decide to bury it makes me so angry. We all had to make difficult sacrifices to get this film made, and our work deserves to be shared. I hope someone picks it up, but I'm still hesitant that
I want to see it.
Finally, a lot of y'all loved a section of yesterday's Yesterday Today section, with one of the things I kept seeing being, it's hard to believe someone is dying of thirst when you're drowning, is an amazing quote. It can apply to so many situations and so much of the divisiveness in society today. And others adding it works completely in reverse as well, making it hard to believe someone is drowning while you're dying of thirst without invalidating anyone. And others adding, we're all so incredibly ignorant, and it's not necessarily our fault, but we definitely should take pause in how we react to things more often. And that is actually where our daily dive into the news is going to end. But for more news you need to know, or a little secret.
Yeah, it was good. What else have I missed? I missed a lot of this.
Today, we're talking about how there's a fake video of me going around. This embarrassing fight broke out in the Senate today, and Bernie Sanders had to try to hold people back. Man's now been arrested for killing a hockey player whose neck was sliced open by a skate during a game. This landmark case playing out right now could change journalism forever. We break down the Army's billion-dollar plan to vacuum up an entire river's worth of fish. Democrats are being tracked down and confronted for not calling for a ceasefire in Gaza. We're talking about all that and so much more in today's extra-large Philip DeFranco show. You daily dive into the news. So let's just jump into it. Starting with, we need to talk about this Adam Johnson situation. Police seem to believe that his death was more than just a freak accident. For those unfamiliar with this, the situation blew up a little while ago. There was kind of like a question of what was going to happen. Johnson was a 29-year-old hockey player from Minnesota who played for the Nottingham.
If you have trouble finding Shaw, check the barracks in Old Town.
Okay.
Where are you going? Well, if you're looking to get there quickly, then look no further.
I'm gonna go piss while I fly. A lot of flight here today. Sorry, guys.
In England. Then, a couple of weeks ago during a championship game against the Sheffield Steelers, he collided with a member of the opposing team, and the other guy's skate cut Johnson's throat. And while he was immediately rushed to the hospital, he was soon pronounced dead. And this event absolutely shocked the hockey world, then growing and growing. You had hundreds attending his vigil, leaving flowers, candles, and hockey sticks at his memorial, as well as his romantic partner giving this extremely touching tribute.
The last year or so, you came up with so many different plans for us, from starting a farm or a coffee shop, or me becoming some big hotshot so you could be a stay-at-home dad with a whole van full of kids you wanted. I just hope in heaven they let you have your farm and all the cows and chickens your little heart desires.
We saw in an attempt to prevent this kind of thing from happening again, the coroner called for compulsory use of neck guards in ice hockey. And in fact, the English Ice Hockey Association said it would start making neck guards mandatory starting in 2024 as part of a 3-step plan, as well as saying the UK's elite ice hockey league strongly encouraging players and officials to wear them, though not making them mandatory there. But now, in addition to all of that, we have another update, because while there had been a lot of debate on social media over, was this a freak accident? Did this guy on the other team intend to hurt him? We really didn't have updates, but today, police arrested someone for manslaughter.
Man, neck guards would suck so bad, make the sport fucking, worthless to play. Just not fun to play. Because you're like, oh, the neck thing itches so bad. That's like saying they've got to wear snow goggles or something like that. That's insane.
Related to Johnson's death. Presumably, that is...
No, I get why they're doing it, but I mean... I think you should just have them sign on a form, understand that we are now aware of bad neck risk with hockey blades, and you might die of a severed throat because of hockey blades, and all of them will probably sign. I don't think you need them to make them wear neck guards. I think that's an infantile child's approach to it.
player whose skate killed Johnson. Though we don't have official confirmation yet, though it really would make sense for anyone else to get arrested. As of right now,
I went to the wrong place. Oops.
Outside of that, it's going to be very interesting to see what specific arguments the authorities bring forward with this. Because again, while online you have people saying this is a dirty move by a dirty player, there were also a lot of people that understood this to just be a freak accident, right? Not something that a person would be criminally liable for. But until we learn more, that is where we are. And in the meantime, of course, I'd love to know your thoughts down below. And then there is a fake video of me making the rounds right now, and rather than just talk about that, I want to use it as a reason to talk about AI in general, because there's a lot of AI updates today. Starting with the news that there's actually bounties for AI renderings of real people. The bounties in question being offered by the platform Civet AI, according to a new report from 404 Media. So the way it works is that the tool allows users to post bounties, essentially asking people in the community to create an AI model that fits the style and composition they want, or that resembles the likeness of a real person. And the person who makes the best AI model wins a virtual currency.
Wow.
Site. Per 404, there have been a lot of bounties requesting the likeness of celebrities and influencers, and you probably guessed it, often women. If you take a quick scroll right now, you can see bounties for Charlie D'Amelio, Lily Pichu. Though also a lot currently seem to be more generic in the AI art space. Some requests for wallpaper and logos. The 404 also said they found at least one instance where a bounty of a private person was made. Now that posting didn't include the person's name, just a handful of images taken from a social media account. The person who made the listing saying that he was seeking an AI of his wife, but a lot of people also didn't buy that, since the woman in question appeared to have a Facebook that said she was single. And the
Welcome to SI 7 headquarters adventure.
Well, yeah, people
this matter might be more complex than Stout Mantle
people
realizes.
concerned about what this means for bounties
The
of real
Stonemasons
people,
Guild
since
was
Civet
run by
AI
a
and
man
platforms
named
like it can be
Edwin Van
used for
Cleef.
sexual
Van
AI
Cleef
models.
was
So you also
responsible
places
for
like Gadget and
rebuilding
other Civet AI
Stormwind
has
after
said
the
that
orcs
bounties should not
raised
be
it in the
used
First
for sexual
War.
images of real
Apparently,
people.
Van
Also
Cleef
noted
and
that
his
it's
men
still
were
not remotely hard to
unhappy
achieve
with
that
their
anyways.
treatment by
Then in
the
addition to
king
that,
after
we
the
had AI news around
reconstruction was
film and
complete.
Hollywood. Right, and that,
That
for a number
just
of reasons,
might
including this
explain a
AI
thing or
biopic in the
two.
works.
I have written a more detailed account for your master in Westfall. Take this to him at once.
Westfall. Okay. Well, that's good. All that travel at least got me like a quarter level or something like that. That's cool. And then I'll have another point finally to cap out what I'm going to do in Lightning, and I get my first point in precision, which is good. And we start putting 4 points of precision by the time I reach 19 or 20. I'll have precision capped out. Then I'll work on dual wield. And then after that, I'll work on probably reaching this. Malice and improved slice and dice, right? And then I'm gonna go to subtlety for the rest of it. But I want those, like those. Oh, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, actually, like I think I want to go like all. Yeah, I think never mind. I think I'll probably go sin. I'll go sin. But I mean, I don't know. I can't reach all of it. I would prefer to do safety wise, elusiveness and master of deception and opportunity instead of camouflage is definitely really nice. But those I only really need those three. That's it. The sleight of hand is good. Might actually work like some points into that too. But that's it. That's all I really want out of that chart. The rest of it, you know, I'll go all the way through to improve kidney shot and cold blood. And I'll run cold blood eviscerate. Yep. And Seal Fate's really nice, but I don't think I can get down to Vigor. I don't think so, but yeah.
Will reportedly be about the French singer Edith Piaf, who died 60 years ago, and the AI will be used to recreate her voice and image. It's being made by Warner Music Group in partnership with her estate, and the AI voice will be used to narrate the story. So with that, you have people pissed about it, wondering, you know, why did we even strike if stuff like this is going to be allowed? And this also is we're seeing actors, including Justine Bateman, saying, you know, we shouldn't agree to this SAG deal, saying SAG leadership and committee did not take my guidance on the AI issues. And arguing, I've said from the beginning that the use of generative AI will collapse the structure of this business. I want the actors and crew to have enough self-respect to turn over a table and flip the CEOs off as it happens. They're going to leave you with nothing left to lose. As well as then taking to MSNBC and saying that the only reason union members should sign this is if they never want to work again. With one major point of concern being the use of synthetic performers, which are essentially fully AI versions of humans performing in film roles. The rap explaining that SAG-AFTRA negotiated a clause requiring the studio to give them notice and the chance to bargain in good faith if a synthetic performer is used in place of a
Where is it you would like to go last? For just a few coin, my griffins can get me there faster than even the swiftest horse.
Compensation if the synthetic performer includes one of their distinct distinctive facial features. So because of this, you're seeing things
Where
like
is
one
it
actor
you would
posted
like
a
to
video
go
on TikTok
last?
saying
For
union
just a
members
few
should not
coin,
ratify
Mike
their
Griffins
contract
can get you
explaining.
None of the wins that we got matter because generative AI is going to take a majority of the job.
Justine Bateman also sounding off on this aspect, writing, I find it baffling that a union representing human actors would give approval of those same actors being replaced by an AI object. And don't
Yeah,
forget,
it is
those
a bit
AI
odd.
objects are a mashup of all actors' past performances, adding insult to injury. Meanwhile, in other AI news, you have YouTube trying to put in new limitations and guardrails, with them now requiring creators to disclose and label AI use when they've made altered or synthetic content that is realistic, as well as giving people the ability to request takedowns of AI-generated content made to simulate an identifiable individual, though not all requests will be granted. Also, we're seeing YouTube take action around the big rise of AI music, with allowing its music partners to request the removal of AI-generated songs that mimic an artist's voice. And that, of course, coming as it's become a massive trend on the platform. With us seeing things like last week, Bad Bunny slamming an AI song mimicking his voice that went viral across a ton of different social media platforms, calling the song shitty, condemning fans who liked it. But then also, because everything AI is now so accessible to pretty much everyone, it's becoming so common everywhere. With, for example, I know a lot of people running into this video this week. It includes the video where I'm covering a Mr. Beast controversy story, and then it's all AI. Now, that's obviously not me, as hopefully many of you can tell. Well, I'm not too concerned about people that watch me knowing if that's me or not. Where it is concerning are people that aren't familiar with me coming across this video because it's got like hundreds of thousands of views. And of course, as I like to remind people every time we talk about this, this is the worst the technology will ever be. The tech is only going to get better, and the situations are only going to get crazier from here. So I commend places that are trying to put in these guardrails, they're trying to put in these tools, but I don't really know if there's anything that can stop what this is about to become. And then, is this exactly what people should be doing, or is it a road too far? That is one of the big debates playing out right now, with the growing trend of lawmakers being confronted for not supporting a ceasefire in the Israel-Hamas war. And this is in recent weeks, multiple interactions that follow this general script have gone viral on social media. This including most recently a video of Senator Chris Coons that has more than 12 million views on X as
my
of
scout
recording. And in that
reports
clip,
that a Defias messenger has been seen on the roads between Moonbrook, the Gold Coast Quarry, and the Jangalode Mine. I want you to capture him. If he resists, kill him and bring me whatever he is carrying.
Posted yesterday, the lawmakers seen riding an Amtrak and being questioned by a person who identifies himself as a journalist and who repeatedly ignored the senator's request to be left alone.
Senator, I'm sorry to put you on the spot, but when I call for a ceasefire in Gaza, I'm a journalist in Terry Mante. When I call for a ceasefire in Gaza, you have 4,600 children killed. 46. I know it's a quiet car, and I apologize for abuse, but I understand, but children are dying. Children are dying, sir. I'm asking you to explain when I call for a ceasefire.
Bothering me and everyone else around. Sir, could I please have some help here?
Kids are being killed with our weapons.
I'm asking you to stop.
Why not stop?
This is
When I
not
call for stopping
place for you to interview me. You're bothering everybody else
it's
around.
it's a crisis
How
right
did you
now.
get this seat?
Also, last week we saw this interaction between an activist and Senator Mitt Romney in the halls of the Senate.
Went in the country and brutally murdered people.
Israel
Cut their
is
throats.
carpet bombing.
You want to talk or am I to talk?
I'm going to talk.
Okay, well, I'm not going to listen.
Senator, you are in the committee.
And then, of course, there's also been involvement from different groups of protesters, all of whom called for a ceasefire. We've seen hundreds of anti-Zionist Jewish activists getting arrested for staging a sit-in at Congress. You had other demonstrators disrupting a Senate hearing. A veterans group was arrested.
What's happening to the world? My people are unhappy. Everybody's crazy. It's not good.
Men's office in the Capitol. And a speech by Senator Cory Booker was interrupted by a crowd of protesters.
Where people want to make sure that we have. This is what makes
ceasefire.
The power to protest.
But then also, one of these confrontations that's gone really viral, getting nearly 15 million views on X as of recording, is this one where Senator Elizabeth Warren is approached by a woman while the senator was eating dinner in Cambridge. With that clip reportedly posted by the Boston faction of the anti-Zionist group Jewish Voice for Peace, which said on X that it had mobilized with Harvard students and others in Cambridge to disrupt Senator Warren at dinner. And in the footage, we see the woman going up to the senator saying she is a constituent of hers and a refugee from Gaza. Warren then responds that she's having dinner, and the woman continues anyway, saying that 68 members of her family have been killed over the last 3 weeks, and asking how many more will have to die before she calls a ceasefire.
Aggro.
And so with all this, we've seen a lot of people online divide over these approaches. Or you've some applauding these moves, saying that people should keep doing this, making politicians uncomfortable and getting in their faces. Or many arguing that these politicians are supposed to represent and serve the public, but they are failing to do so, and so they must be held accountable. Some also calling for more politicians to be hounded down, while others took aim at the politicians we have seen getting confronted. And this including the likes of massive online creators like Mia Khalifa, who of course posted a lot about everything that's been going down, or tweeting specifically about the video with Warren and writing. This privileged pro really said, "I'm having dinner," in response to 68 members of my family dying. Evil, putrid, deplorable. I hope she never has a peaceful meal or bowel movement in her life again. But then on the other side, we also saw people pushing back against this, with one user who responded to me.
That's a girl who said that?
I lost 100 family members. She's under no obligation to talk to a stranger who could be a liar or a psychopath. Respect civility and common decency, you sick fucks. Others also echoing that, arguing that confronting lawmakers like this isn't the best approach. With, for example, one person writing, "I'm questioning the efficacy of the tactic. Unlikely to accomplish anything serious and instead galvanize your opposition. You can't think you can intimidate senators and sway their stance by doing this, can you? Ineffective." But ultimately, that is a story, the differing views that are being shared, and so I want to pass the question off to you. Where do you land on this? And then we gotta talk about my boy Wile E. Coyote, the OG grinder and hustler with no quit, the man who said you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. And that's because, as some of you learned over the last 2 weeks, he actually had a movie coming out, Coyote versus Acro. It was this comedy film that was a hybrid of live action and animation starring John Cena. And last week, the studio announced, hey, we're actually shelving the movie. But also the big thing there is that is despite the fact that it was already completed. The report saying that Warner Bros. Just made a decision to land an estimated $30 million tax write-off, with that saying it was a part of a shift in global release strategy. And so understandably, the creatives involved in this film were blindsided by the choice and they were pissed off. Or if you're not a part of the industry, you don't know people in the industry, to get a movie made, it's fucking insane. And so to go through the whole process and make an actual movie only for Warner Bros. To be like, JK, I mean, I can't even imagine what that would make me feel. I mean, I lose a game of fantasy football and my whole week's screwed. So this, I mean, I'd have a breakdown. But a big thing now is it appears that amid this mounting backlash that we've seen online, Warner Bros. Is changing its mind, with the studio actually now allowing the director to shop the film without their buying. As far as why there was a change of heart, according to the Hollywood Reporter, it was because people in the industry were apparently fuming over this. And several filmmakers actually instructed their representatives to cancel upcoming meetings with Warner Bros. Over it. Because, you know, people look at their decisions to just cancel finished films and think, well, I'm not going to fucking work with those people. Or because also one of the big things is this is not an outlier. They have done this for multiple projects. And the key thing being multiple finished projects for a little tax write-off. And so hopefully we get to see this movie because according to a number of people who said they saw it, it's actually been testing well. And then, before we go any further, let's talk about something very important to me, and that's your health. Your chances are poking up with a sore throat, a rash, or other symptom, and immediately head over to see what TikTok or Google says. Before you know it, you're convinced you're dying. But here's the thing, the internet is filled with too much misinformation, so why not talk to someone that's actually qualified? Well, thanks to the sponsor of today's show, ZocDoc, you can. You just start by downloading the free app millions of others are using to find and book amazing doctors online who are right for you and take your insurance. We're talking about booking appointments with thousands of top-rated, patient-reviewed doctors and specialists. You can filter specifically for ones who take your insurance, are located near you, and treat almost any condition you're searching for. Plus, the average wait time to see a doctor booked on ZocDoc is between 24 to 72 hours, sometimes scoring same-day appointments with doctors who have verified reviews from actual real patients, not bots. The app is also really easy to use, and it's not just about finding a general practitioner. You can find specialists too, dermatologists, dentists, psychiatrists, eye doctors, I can go on. It really is convenient. You just go to ZocDoc.com/Phil and download the ZocDoc app for free. Then find and book a top-rated doctor today. That's ZocDoc.com/Phil. ZocDoc.com/Phil. And then, how on earth could a giant vacuum big enough to suck up an entire river make good on a promise that's been broken over and over for a century and a half? That is the question critics of the U.S. military are raising after a proposal to save an endangered fish made everyone's heads explode. We are absolutely going to talk about what the